Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by InsideEdge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. MosserMomentsPhotography.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to Fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams.
All right. They did it again. They did the thing again. And with that, welcome on in to the Cavaliers postgame for Game 2, brought to you by the fellas at Inside Edge Primetime. That's Chad Bryan to my right. You're right. I'm Eli Moon. We are having a tough time right now, folks, because the Cavaliers continue to just drop the ball. In fact, so much so they mirrored my camera to start the show. And it's been a day, Chad, and it's been an evening. I mean, a very great day to start the day. Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell, 5 to 6 p.m. here weekdays here on the Inside Edge Network. It was a great show, and he highlighted some things, even with the Cavaliers. And we'll dive into that a little bit later on. We'll be with you for the next 2 hours or so, leading you up to midnight. So Cavaliers post game, and then we'll guide you into Midnight Run with Anthony Alford here on the Inside Edge Network. Of course, if you're just tuning in for the first time, hello, that's Chad. I'm Eli. Make sure you give a like, subscribe, follow all of the great stuff Inside Edge Net on all the socials: YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. All of those socials. Your support means the world to us. It keeps us rocking as Cleveland's digital leader and your source for sports, entertainment, mental health news, and everything in between. We appreciate you. All right. Yeah. Now that we have got the fun stuff out of the way, Chad, let's dive into it. It's not going to be fun. This is going to be sad. But the Cavaliers drop another game. It just seems like it was like literally identical to Game 1, except for just a different score. But the Cavs lose again by 10. Yeah. Dropping Game 2 to the Detroit Pistons 107-97. And Chad, it just seems like this team has, first off, nobody that's going to help whoever's scoring that night. Whoever it is, it could be Donovan Mitchell tonight. It could be James Harden every now and then, and we'll get to that later. It could be Evan Mobley. It could be Jared Allen. But nobody wants to actually score after that. It's just one guy, and that's all we get. Donovan had a great game tonight. I mean, he shot all right from the floor. Yeah. But ultimately, it's just never enough because they don't have a second guy to go get a bucket. It's like AA asked literally a few days ago, who's going to go score? Who is going to go score and win this game for the team? And I don't know who it's going to be, Chad. I understand where, and I'm curious your thoughts. I understand where Kyle Cornell was already coming with the James Harden take. You know, I understood it. Now I truly understand it. I mean, what an abysmal game by James Harden, Chad.
Well, yeah. I mean, you saw the huge turnover in the fourth. I mean, I see the comments rolling in. Some of them are a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I mean, you see Kyle. I mean, Kyle made the comment the other night on the postgame show, right? Like he said it is if the Cavs have more than 10 turnovers and the Pistons hit more than 10 3, and here we are. 14 to 28, 50% from the three. Well, what's that like, by the way? 22% for the Cavs from the 3-point line tonight. That's not going to cut it. But yeah, James Harden, the huge turnover. Just again, kind of lost with the ball in his hands at times. I mean, he had a couple of mid-range shots. He had the 12 to 15 footer kind of going tonight a couple of times, but you need more out of him. I mean,
yeah, and I understand Jared Allen had a good game tonight, better than what he was game one. He was basically not on the floor game one with foul trouble, but I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it, Chad. Here we are. I'm Eli Moon. We're 2 games into the second round, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of asking for effort on defense. I mean, you just, and I listened to our buddy Tim Alcorn on the radio for a good portion of the game. And I just hearing the excitement in Tim's voice. Okay, the Cavs are, and Azar Thompson. And just, I mean, like,
they just they cannot knock down the big shot. They get right there. They get close, right? Like they'll tie it up. They'll take a 1-point lead. They just can't get that push to like they when they're within 1 or when they're up 1. They just can't get that little 9-0 run that they need to create some space, right? They cannot do it. And it's the same story. I mean, they didn't turn the ball over as much tonight. I mean, 11 turnovers. The Pistons had 14 points off the turnover. Mm-hmm. Not huge. I mean, right? They had 31 points in game 1 off the turnover. So that improved. That was better. But like I said, 7 of 32 from behind the 3-point line is, man, I mean, at least we didn't see Sam Merrill miss any corner threes tonight.
Yeah, but we talked about Jalen Tyson. I mean, what happened to playing Jalen Tyson more tonight too? I guess I'm not one.
Not aggressive, and he just kind of went away, and then that was it.
And I'm not one, like, I love Kenny Atkinson. I'm not one to call Kenny Atkinson out, but right now you got to look at the rotations and the lineups, how they're being trotted out there, and wondering like what the heck is going on, right? Yeah. Like you said, Jalen Tyson was starting to provide a spark for those Cavaliers, our Cavaliers tonight. And in 22 minutes, finished it with 7 points, went 3 of 7, 0 for 2 from 3. But the grittiness, like he is going to be able to at least provide some grittiness that, unfortunately, a lot of this Cavaliers team at times does lack. And I mean, I don't know. I just think it's a problem that some of the guys that you counted on earlier in the year can't knock down open shots. I think it's a problem when the offense just gets stagnant and goes ISO mode. I think it's a problem that James Harden is turning into playoff Harden more as we speak. Keep it light for a moment. I was talking to my niece and nephew earlier today. My nephew 4, my niece 2. She's real big in the trolls. And I kept telling them, I'm going to turn into a troll. Like, hey, I found trolls. I'm going to turn into a troll. Well, James Harden is turning into like playoff James Harden, except for it's not as fun as Uncle E turning into a troll. It's bad.
Fun.
It's bad. It's bad. And it's like, I'm so tired of it, Chad. I've tried. And I was big here on the network in terms of, hey, let's give Harden a chance. You know what? Maybe he's hungry. Maybe this is his 17th season. Well, it isn't. Maybe it is his 17th season, but maybe, just maybe he's hungry enough to win a championship. He hasn't been back to one since 2012, and he was the 6th man. That was Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook's team. I will continue to reiterate that. That was not James Harden's team. That was him being a nice contribution, a great one at that, but he wasn't the leader. Every time James Harden's been put into a position to lead or co-lead, he turns into this James Harden. So I just have a tough time defending the guy anymore. And I don't think I can when he puts out a 3 of 13 night. When he puts out, 0 for 4, I believe, from 3? 0 for 4 from 3 for James Harden. He had 4 free throws. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. And I understand I was advocating for Darius Garland being traded. I thought, you know what? Trade Darius Garland, get somebody in here.
Yeah.
But if this was the best you could do, I almost wonder, like, what else was on the table for Darius Garland? What else was on the table for some of these, for some of these guys who could have moved? Kyle talked about it earlier on Unfiltered, the report that came out about, the Bucks wanted Evan Mobley and all the first the Cavs could have.
Yeah.
Why aren't we pulling the trigger on these types of moves? However, we get
if that's
James
a real thing and the Cavs didn't do it during the season, if that's an actual real thing, like if that's not, I didn't read that full story. If that's not just a a preliminary talks in the offseason. This is what we're going to ask, right? Like this is the ask. And then maybe the Cavs will consider that depending on what happens in the playoffs. If that was the thing that was offered at the trade deadline, the Cavs said no. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
By the way, I forgot what shirt I had on. Now some of the comments make more sense to me. By the way,
Okay,
and I agree with all, and I agree with all the comments now. But no,
Yes.
there's not a single comment in that line that I don't agree with. You're right.
Heck yeah. We got some comments filing in. We'll show some here coming up on the screen, Chad. We'll start with a Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast 216. And this is Kyle, to be specific. He is not usually on social media, but he said, Kyle here. What did I say?
Kyle here.
2 10s, under 10 turnovers, and under 10 threes allowed. Detroit hit 14 threes at 50% shooting, and the Cavs had 11 turnovers, including a huge one by Harden in the fourth. Shaking my head. And Kyle, I mean, we tend to agree with you. I would believe. I don't want to speak for Chad too, but
I agree. I agree with all the comments I see on the screen right now. I mean, James Harden literally dribbled their comeback chances right into the floor. I mean,
yeah, and you mentioned the comments here, Chad. Let's get we appreciate you guys tuning in and giving your thoughts as well. We're here all night with you till 1 a.m. So we'll be here till midnight. Then I'll kind of sneak behind the scenes, and Double A will get unhinged. But Derpy 501st 2 said, honestly, just sell the entire squad. The face on Mitchell looked like he's going to New York, not going to lie. And these are the types of things you can't avoid when you're down 2-0 to a team that has your former coach as their head coach.
This is what we said about LeBron when he left after the rough Celtics series. Remember, he looked checked out. And I don't think that Donovan Mitchell always looks checked out, but there are times when I look at him and I'm like, where is regular season Donovan Mitchell? Like, where is... Like, we've seen him explode for 70 points, man. We've seen him. I don't know, man. I don't know. This team's hard to watch right now.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing is what it is, Chad. I am so fed up with every time we come into this studio to talk Cavs postgame. And we've done a few of them now here on the network. And thanks again. If you're tuning in for the first time, hello. We're usually not this angry, but I'm fed up with the Cavs just got to have more effort. Yeah. I'm sorry. What more motivation do you need? You're in the second round of the NBA playoffs, a round that has literally stopped you in your tracks every time. As a core 4, as a core 3, with James Harden on his own island, as Kyle said earlier. I mean, what else do you need? So is it effort? Is it the defense that you just have no fundamental defense at the most critical moments of the game? Or is it just we're in it for ourselves? Because to Derpy's point, I mean, here's the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
If these guys get bounced, if our Cavaliers get bounced quicker than we thought, which they got to go win both, not just one. You have to win both in Cleveland now. You have to. If you get bounced, the Cavaliers get bounced, just get prepared for a whole new Cavaliers team.
Yeah.
The poster downtown Cleveland right outside Rocket Mortgage Arena, that's going down. They're going to completely put a whole new one up. Just get used to some new faces because everything's on the table. Mobley for Giannis, if he even wants to come to this situation. Donovan Mitchell, we'll have conversations about him. All of these guys, Chad. I'm so heated because I'm so tired of asking a team that can't get to an NBA Finals as a group to want to get to the NBA Finals. OKC doesn't have this problem. San Antonio doesn't have this problem. New York, I know they have their troubles, but they give a damn about their team.
Yeah. Listen, I know a lot of people probably maybe, well, at this point, I'm sure you might be fine with it. But a lot of people before would have said, no, don't trade Mobley for Giannis. Don't do that. Do you think if Giannis were here and let's say we have Giannis on the floor, do you think 9 points and 1 rebound is a stat line that you're going to get out of Giannis Antetokounmpo? I mean, do you think that's realistic? Do you think we would see 9 points and 1 rebound? And what's essentially, it felt like an elimination game tonight. It felt like you had to win one of these first 2 games on the road, right? I mean, what are they? Are they 4-13 now? In the Donovan Mitchell era on the road in the playoffs, 4-13.
Yeah. It's embarrassing, Chad, and it frustrates me. And I just, nobody usually sees me like this on the network. Usually I got all smiles, but tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot smile anymore about this Cavaliers team. I am frustrated.
And the effort was there. That's the thing. There was actually some intensity tonight. I watched James Harden play some defense. I watched him, I saw him body guys up in the post and give some effort. It's just not there. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you even fix this. first of all, you got to hit some threes, right? You've got to knock that. You had wide open threes they couldn't knock down. And I get it. Sometimes you're trying to rush through your shot a little bit. Somebody's closing out on defense, whatever happens. But 7 of 32, that's not going to get it done. 9 points, 1 rebound out of Evan Mobley is not going to get it done. All the turnovers in the world. I mean, how many Harden had 4 more turnovers tonight. And it wouldn't be a problem if he didn't have 374 turnovers coming in over the last, 5 or 6 basketball games. We wouldn't even be talking about 4 turnovers tonight if it hadn't been a problem for the whole Raptors series, right?
Chad, here's brother, I'm going to be so honest with you. The fact that we've had to sit here and beg this team for effort and defense in the playoffs, they had the correct effort 7 to 8 games. So now they got to work on scoring the basketball and passing that along. And I guess we got to work on the next 3 games for James Harden to find a shot. Here's the reality of the situation. One more time. Another reality is that you don't have 3 more games to figure it out. No. You have 2 more losses and you're out. You're gone. Yep. And it's going to be another year. It'll be 10 straight years without an NBA championship. And that sounds a little selfish. I get it. We're Cleveland's digital leader. And we're all aware we spent 52 years without a Cleveland championship. But there is a standard, Chad. And we'll talk about this when we come back from break. We're going to go to break here in a moment. But there's a standard when you win an NBA championship. Yeah. When the Golden State Warriors went on their run and won the first title in a long time, they have a standard to the point where Draymond Green and Charles Barkley are almost going to blows on ESPN yesterday because they're talking about the end of the Warriors run because that's how much it matters. If you ask James Harden or any of these guys right now how much it would matter to win in Cleveland, I couldn't tell you how much. And I don't mean to call these guys out, but if you really wanted it, you'd get it. Instead of every report coming out that if the season ended and the Cavs don't get it done, then you might have to say goodbye to Donovan or, Mobley might have to. Why are we having these conversations? And I know reporters are going to report, and we appreciate the great reporting that is out there, and we appreciate all that. Why are these stories constantly coming to light? Instead of looking for a better situation, maybe look at the situation you have. Kenny Atkinson's won Coach of the Year. They've been in a position where they have everything you would think of, Chad. A Defensive Player of the Year. 2 guys that can go get a bucket. And a monster in the middle with a bunch of depth. But for some reason, it just constantly doesn't work out. And I don't understand why.
No, and I get it. Kenny Atkins, a lot of people are really mad at Kenny Atkins. I know the whole arms folded, smiling on the bench thing. Listen, have you seen a rotation? Have you seen a lineup on this floor that you feel would have any kind of sustained success? I mean, I get it as a coach. You're supposed to know your guys. You got to figure out a rotation, a lineup. You got to figure out something that works and at crunch time or whatever. I mean, have you seen a lineup with 5 guys on the floor that look like they all want it at the same time? I mean, I just see a lot of guys standing around watching somebody else, like waiting for someone else to take the lead instead of 4 or 5 guys out there playing with intensity to try to. You don't have to know each other that well to play hard together, right? It's frustrating because tonight the defensive intensity was there, right? They didn't have a ton of turnovers, but then you get on offense and again, they're not having good possessions. I mean, it's just guys standing around watching, like waiting for Donovan Mitchell to do something or waiting for James Harden to do something. I would say waiting for Evan Mobley to do something, but we'd all still be waiting. It's frustrating to watch because it's like they don't understand what their identity is. And no one is stepping up to take a leadership role, to just take the team by the reins and say, hey, look, this is what we are. This is what we're going to do. And let's just do it. I mean, I'm trying not to swear, to be honest with you.
I know you're being very good. You're being very good right now. I've got it covered for us tonight. Don't worry.
It's frustrating to watch a team that's so talented not have anyone that can step up in these big moments to do anything but just dribble the ball to the floor and turn it over.
And you know what? It's a slap into the face of Kobe Altman in the front office, too. I'm going to say that.
They spent way too much money for this.
Way too much money. It's a slap in the face of Altman.
Yeah.
Altman, Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cavaliers, who has never been afraid to spend some money. No. It is an embarrassing thing. And you know what? Also, why it's a slap in the face is because you have the coach in-house that is currently leading the team that is whooping your ass. Like, what else are we doing here?
Because he wasn't a playoff coach. Remember, he's up 2-0 on you right now. By the way,
JB Bickerstaff, you might make us all eat our words here in Cleveland. I've been talking I know Chad hasn't been as harsh as necessarily me, but yes, we are heated here on the Inside Edge Network. And usually he would come in around midnight. You'd hear the coffee brewing. I think he started the coffee around 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We'll have Double A Anthony Alford, the program director.
I'm just, I'm done. I'm done.
Not great.
No, I probably shouldn't have done that. Yeah.
Grab your caffeine, grab your dinner. We're not going anywhere. In fact, we're just getting started. We're here with you until 1 a.m. That's Chad Bryan. I'm Eli Moon. This is Inside Edge Primetime. We're covering Cavs Game 2. They fall again tonight, Game 2, 107-97 to the Detroit Pistons. They come back to Cleveland to figure it out. We're going to figure it out here. Thank you for joining us. And after the break, like I said, usually around midnight, but he's going to join us for a segment a little earlier. Then he may take a nap and then come back later. But Double A Anthony Alford, the program director and host of Midnight Run, is back here on the Cavaliers Game 2 postgame show on the Inside Edge Network. Right after this.
Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Boy, if you missed last night's Midnight Run, where were you? You missed out the fun. Myself and my friends, we were here, Eli and Omar. We had our first installment of Midnight Conversations. Folks, we got into it. What is the true definition of a living room? If you're dead or unalive, come on, guys. Come on. We had a whole discussion about that. It got unhinged, Eli.
It sure did, Double A. We finally have made it to the unhinged behavior that the folks and the fans out there have been waiting for. And yeah, I mean, a living room is a living room, you know?
Omar, do you agree with that?
Ask the ghosts in my house. They might have another answer for you.
Unbelievable. If you missed it last night, you need to go back and watch Midnight Run. Also, shout out to my buddy Spencer German. We talk Cavaliers and Browns. Reacting to Pistons and Cavs. Speaking of which, coming up tonight, hopefully, we're celebrating a Game 2 victory. We better be celebrating a Game 2 victory or off. I'm going to go off on this. We'll see you later tonight. Midnight Run at midnight right here on the Inside Edge Network.
Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com.
And welcome back to the Cleveland Cavaliers Game 2 post-game show, brought to you by the Inside Edge Network. The Primetime guys taking care of the show for you tonight. Chad Bryant over to my right, which, ladies and gentlemen, would mean he's over to your right as well. The game's over, all right? We joked around the last few days that, okay, you know, I'm supposed to be left, right, whatever. Chad, I don't have time for it tonight because, quite frankly, the Cavaliers have pissed me off. They pissed you off. And you know what they've pissed off? They pissed off a man that doesn't come on air till midnight.
Uh-oh.
He texted us during the break, the program director, Eli Anthony Alford, who you can hear on Midnight Run with Anthony Alford here on the Inside Edge Network. Yeah. He is pissed. And if you've seen AA, I've seen AA pissed. For anybody that's never seen AA pissed, here's AA pissed. Here's Anthony Alford. He's joining us now. Come on, you're supposed to look pissed. Okay, all right. Yeah. I mean, AA. I mean, dude, it's all jokes aside, pal, this is embarrassing. I don't know where to start. I mean, I think we kind of covered a good portion of like effort, the defense, James Harden just doing playoff James Harden things. Where would you like to begin?
James Harden should not play another second in this series. Not another effing second in this series. He is an absolute travesty out there, an absolute embarrassment to not be able to hold on to the ball, create any kind of plays whatsoever, playing ISO. How do you play ISO ball and not know what to do with the effing ball? How? You tell me. Yeah. What is he doing out there? He doesn't effing know what he's doing out there. He should not play another second of this series.
Yeah, I mean, it's embarrassing, AA. It's when you look at it, you know, Kyle obviously had some very strong takes after game one of Harden should go to the bench. We are now at the point where we don't know, like you said, we don't even know if we want to see the guy.
Keep his ass in the locker room. No, forget the bench. Keep him in the locker room or send him home. He doesn't know how to play basketball right now.
He wants to play. It's wild.
Yeah, and you wonder, AA, right? You know, you see Jalen Tyson get a little bit more minutes tonight, or at least a quicker run, and he was very efficient for a second there. And some of these other guys that are actually providing value, and I understand the Cavaliers, this was their big trade. They got, you know, I know they also brought in Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis for DeAndre Hunter, but the big trade was Garland for Harden. And I don't understand, if you're the front office right now, how you can justify this. Because regardless of all the regular season success and the fun we had, and James Harden and Travis Scott coming out after a post-game interview, all the fun, this is something that we talked about back in February and March and April. And here we are in May, and it's happening. I mean, here's the reality of the situation. If I go watch a movie, AA, and I watch the same movie, I put the same disc in, it's going to be the same movie. And that's what we've watched for the last over a decade with James Harden. I'm just so tired of it.
Well, and you mentioned about the team and what the teams look. Let me make this quick point about James Harden. In the fourth quarter of tonight's game, 0 points, 0 for 1 from the field, 0 steals, 0 blocks, and all that. That's James Harden. This was the team. I know Darius Garland was traded, but this Kobe Altman's legacy was the core four. Mm-hmm. How often do we hear Kobe Altman talk about this core four can do it? This core four can do it. And think about this. Dan Gilbert had buses full of season ticket holders go to Detroit. Dan Gilbert was in the building tonight. Dan Gilbert is not going to – Dan Gilbert spent money for the most expensive roster in the NBA. And I thought Chad made the best point of the entire postseason, and it's going to be the death knell of this team. If there's not a single rotation that you trust out there, what in the world can Kenny Atkinson even do in terms of rotations? What can he do?
Sit on the bench and cross his arms and smile. I mean,
right. What rotation, while he sits there like this, talking to his assistants, what rotation can he put out there and trust that, hey, here's the effing basketball, make a shot? Or, hey, here's the lineup, actually box out and don't give up offensive rebounds. Who can he put out there? Any of these fools, who can he put out there to trust that any of that is going to be accomplished? Nobody. Not a single person he could put out there. I got Evan Mobley shooting three-pointers from Lake Erie and can't make a thing. I don't. And then Donovan Mitchell, is he hurt? I think Donovan's hurt.
I don't think he's hurt.
Well, he did turn his ankle tonight. I thought he was noticeably hobbled after that. There were times I saw him trying to run down the court, and you could notice there was a little bit but that not.
I mean, it's the same old story, Chad. It's the same old story again.
Yeah,
it's still hurt in May. His body can't hold up.
Yep. Yeah, and I understand your point, Chad, but Donovan's dealt with worse or significant injuries. Not to downplay an injury. I never would do that. But Donovan's heart's in New York or wherever he wants to go. That's where his mind and his heart's at right now. He is officially, I said it yesterday, or I said it on Game 1's post game. You have to wonder, the more and more we keep watching this Cavaliers demise, because that's what it's turning into. Yeah. It's starting to give the feel of when Bron left Cleveland. Yeah. Okay. LeBron starts checking out. He starts, the jersey comes off after the loss to the Celtics, the tough
can't leave
loss.
If we win. Can't win if I just dribble the ball onto the floor and fall down. And my God, it's happening again.
Donovan, I know I've had a few strong takes this week in terms of maybe the temperature's a little hot. I would not be surprised in the next two games, because that's the way it's going. The Cavaliers are on their way to either getting swept or a gentleman's sweep.
I don't know if they're going to make the Game 5. Yeah.
They have showed that they can't win in Detroit. Can they win in Cleveland against this team? We'll find out. We'll have all the coverage here for you all postseason long on the Inside Edge Network. But, guys, I feel like Donovan is checked out. And I hate saying it, but it truly feels like Donovan Mitchell is on his way wherever he's going. If he wants to go to New York or wherever, I'm not saying it'll work out and he'll win a championship, because we thought it would work out here in Utah was the problem. But eventually you have to look at, why can't Donovan Mitchell get out of the second round as the leader of a franchise? Because Utah, I know in our minds, Utah is bad. I get it. They're bad right now. Mm-hmm. They had Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert, mind you, who is putting in work this postseason against Nikola Jokic, Victor Wembanyama. He is putting in work. So Donovan Mitchell, it's not like he was leading Utah all by himself, had no extra help, nothing like that. So at what point, guys, and yes, Doubly, you're exactly right. If you heard me in the opening segment, you heard my expression with James Harden. I think we're checked out on the experiment. It's over with. But it goes deeper than that, because Donovan Mitchell is the main constant. He has been, while we've been waiting for Evan Mobley to become whatever Evan Mobley is going to become. Can somebody please tell me what Evan Mobley is going to become? Kyle talked about that earlier. Yeah,
exactly. He is what he's going to become. He is right now what he's going to become.
This is it.
Exactly.
This is it. This whole Evan Mobley's going to be the next Giannis. Get that out of your system right now. This is it.
He's going to be a third or fourth option on an above-average team.
Exactly. And then, fellas, you look at Jared Allen. Jared Allen's had a little bit of a stronger run the last few years. But my whole point is this. The main constant here is Donovan Mitchell. Why can't Donovan Mitchell string together enough postseason run to go to the finals? Donovan, you came here, we had Darius for you, and we went out and made moves to bring in your buddies, Ty Jerome, and we went out and got these other guys. Donovan, we don't know if it was you, but we'd imagine you had some say in Darius Garland being out of town, and now you get your wish of a guy that can go get a bucket. Unfortunately, James Harden's bucket getting ends around mid-April, and then we don't see it till October. And that's my biggest question, guys. We could talk about James Harden. We could talk about Jared Allen. We could talk about Evan Mobley. We could talk about Kenny Atkinson against JB Bickerstaff for all that matters. The biggest question that I think a lot of people here in this city want to avoid, not us, but I think it's time we ask it again. Why can't Donovan Mitchell get enough out of his teammates to win. It falls back on the leader. If the leader can't get these guys to want to play a second round matchup, then he's not leading well enough. And I'm not saying it should ultimately all be on him. These guys gotta want it too. But leaders invoke the emotion. They invoke better play. We talked about it last night, Chad, on Primetime. LeBron James does a great job of doing this. It's why he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest player of all time. Other guys have a knack for doing this. Donovan Mitchell, however, no matter, to your point, Double A, whatever rotation they send out there right now, it's just not enough.
Chad, you want me to take this or you want to take this? Because I have an answer.
I want you to take it. Listen, I'm going to default to you because I feel like I'm going to throw up if I have to talk about this team for much longer. You take it.
Donovan Mitchell's a B-plus player. He's not capable of taking things any further than where we're at right now. As a number one, he's not capable. Now, as a number two, maybe as a number three, different story. If he's on the Celtics right now, as a number two, next to Jaylen Brown, sure. All right, I got you. I'm going to do me. Donovan Mitchell's a B-plus player. Good enough to get things done in the regular season. He's going to put up good stats. The box score for Donovan Mitchell actually is not that bad today. Yeah. 31 points. The box score is not bad. When you watch the game, as we all do as the fans watching this show, when you watch the game, when he's facing tougher competition, when they can game plan against you game by game, he doesn't have enough in his arsenal. His offense, Eli, is not dynamic enough to overcome shortcomings. It isn't.
I think it's that. Yeah.
Real quick, in terms of leadership, in terms of what he's able to do, he is very limited against elite players. If he's your number one, as we're learning in these last 4 years, Donovan Mitchell as your number one, this is the ceiling right now.
And you wonder, and Chad, actually, I want you to go first, Chad. You've been so patient. You go ahead.
I'm not patient. No, I'm kidding. I just think that I think we live well. This is an NBA where I don't know that your leader, that your franchise, the face of your franchise, your leader, the guy that's going to lead you to the NBA finals. I'm just not sure it can be 6'1". I just think that's where we are right now. And I no knock on Donovan Mitchell. I mean, you can't help when you stop growing, man. He's a great player. He's just not destined for greatness. Like he's just not I don't see him being a vocal leader. I really don't see him being a leader by example on the floor. He's kind of out there in his own world. He's just sort of like off on his own thing. And I mean, every once in a while he has a really nice take. He'll finish with a little floater in the lane or whatever. And you're like, okay, here we go. And then to Double A's point, he just kind of shrinks to the competition the next couple of times down the floor, and James Harden dribbles it into the ground. And I at this point, I'd just rather see Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis for some minutes in Game 3.
And Jalen Tyson, and some Jalen Tyson, Double A.
Sure. And real quick, when I hear Donovan Mitchell in reports saying that he doesn't feel pressure, I feel pressure running this network every day to land sponsors, to make sure that we put out a great product on a day-to-day basis, to make sure this is done, that's done. And the fact that in round 2, Donovan Mitchell does not feel pressure he doesn't even have a championship mentality.
No.
Elite players, when they are winning championships or at least contending for championships, there is that sense of urgency. There is that, hey, you know what? I may have to do a little bit more. I don't like James Harden at this point, but at least James Harden, there is a sense of urgency. He's just doing it the wrong way, but there's a sense of urgency. Donovan Mitchell, when I hear that quote, there is no pressure, that told me all I need to know. He cannot be a number one player on a championship contending team. He doesn't have the mindset to do it.
Well, and here's the thing, fellas. I mean, we could dissect the height. We could dissect all of that. Here, to the point, Chad, you know I love you, but I'm going to also bring up Isaiah Thomas is what? 5'10"? Isaiah Thomas played for the Celtics, led them to an Eastern Conference Finals.
How many years ago, though?
I get it. But it's not that far off. It's really not that far off if you think about it. We're still in that era.
When you get to be my age, everything's a long time ago.
Fair. But I guess my point is we've seen shorter players succeed and get to the finals. So I understand the 6'1" discussion. I just think he doesn't have that dog in him, to Double A's point. I
Yeah,
think he doesn't have that dog in him. And I'm sorry to be that guy. And I hate saying it. I'm very Mr. Positive a lot of times.
Yeah.
My blood pressure is through the roof right now because I am so tired of Donovan scores 31. The box score looks sexy, but you know what doesn't look sexy is a 10-point loss. And we continue to go over the same thing. Donovan, to Double A's point, is a B+ player because he's never you can't have a championship level mindset when you don't expect to get to the championship. There is no pressure. Donovan's going to get paid. As far as Donovan's concerned, he'll be one of the most sought after guys, whether it's staying in Cleveland or going somewhere else. He's going to have another landing spot. This isn't the end of Donovan Mitchell. This is the end of a Cavs era, and they're going to have to retool, reshape, rebuild, whatever have you, if this continues on this series. And I guess that's the biggest thing that I have a problem with, is you look at the entire run. Maybe we got bamboozled by Utah after all. And I know they haven't put it together all the way, but maybe we got screwed. We gave up all those firsts. Lauri Markkanen, I still miss to this day. And I know somebody out there in the comments is going to dog me for being like, Lauri Markkanen, check the stats. Yeah. Lauri Markkanen, they gave up some significant guys.
Yeah.
And what have we got out of it? I know the Jazz are still on their rebuild. I get it, but they've added some nice pieces, and we'll see now that the NBA is enforcing the new draft lottery. What have we got out of it? Double A, we've got about as far as we would have with a team of Kevin Love and Kyrie or something without LeBron or something. That is what we're experiencing. We are missing the star. And what Kyle went over earlier on Unfiltered, with the report that the Cavs may have had an opportunity to go get Giannis and it would have cost them Mobley and all the firsts, and they didn't pull the trigger, if that was that close to Chad's point and the Kyle's point, that's mind-blowing. You're telling me you'll pull the trigger, and as much as I was ready to move off Darius Garland, you're telling me you're going to pull the trigger straight up, Darius Garland for James Harden, but you're not going to pull the trigger for the better version of Evan Mobley.
Because Dan Gilbert trusted his team. He trusted the front office. The front office sold them on the core four and sold them on how the core four could work. And again, once you start game planning on a day in, day out basis, there are several holes that you could take advantage of, and they have. And I guess what I'm saying is, look, in my dream world, they go out in game 3, Cleveland, and blow out Detroit.
Yeah.
Mentality-wise, they might get the W, but they won't blow them out. They won't put belts to asses. That won't happen. That's just not how they roll. So, and my last thing is this, and then I'll save the rest for my actual show later on. I wanted to jump on because I can't yell at midnight.
Yeah, right.
But my last point is this. Think about what Dan Gilbert is thinking right now. To your point, Eli and Chad, think about what Dan Gilbert is thinking about right now. I fired the head coach that's whooping our ass right now. I invested more money in a roster than anybody else in the NBA.
Yep.
And we are still down 2-0 in the series, and not a single effing rotation is working, and we are not delivering on effort across the board. It would not shock me if this season is over this point next week. This is over. This is done. Even Mitchell, this is done. They'll do their due diligence and try to get Giannis, but the field is wide open now. And this is done. This is it. You can't run this team. This is a fun regular season. We're going to talk about this team how we talk about the Guardians. This is a fun regular season team that can sell tickets, win games, sign autographs for the kids. And then come playoff time against grown men, they get put down like an old dog.
Well, I'll say this, Double A. My final question to you, maybe you can answer this during Midnight Run. We'll let you get back after it. Let you calm down for a second. Hey, back to yesterday. If you tell somebody to calm down, will they actually calm down? I will find out tonight.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Exactly. All jokes. Yeah, make sure you go check out Midnight Run yesterday if you have no idea what we're talking about. It was a wild conversation here on the Inside Edge Network. But with that being said, Double A, I want you to think about this if you could, and I'll be with you at midnight. So, I'll come back on screen and we'll get your answer. This series falls apart. Obviously, Evan Mobley's on the table. Jared Allen's on the table. James Harden will figure it out. We keep talking about, well, maybe we rebuild around Donovan, we retool. If you're a Cavs fan and you're watching this effort through most of the playoffs, inefficiency, wondering where the Donovan of 2-3 years ago, where he actually moved the ball, actually had some movement in his offensive game, played a little bit better defense. If you're a Cavs fan and this goes the way it's going, do you want Donovan Mitchell back in Cleveland?
I think if you keep him here, you got to build on top of him. You can't build around him. You've got to, like Double A said, he's a great second or third option. You got to put a couple guys on top of him, not stack him on top, but you got to get a guy like Giannis in here. You got to get a guy who's going to be willing to go do the blue collar work. I mean, look at the Pistons. I mean, look at all the tough buckets they got, man. All the hustle plays. Why? There's no excuse to not play like that for 4 quarters. There's no excuse.
But it starts at the top, Chad.
Yeah.
It starts at the top.
I agree with everything Chad said. I agree. Here may be the problem. How do you tell somebody that was the man here, now you're on the B side? Now you're the number 2. Now again,
bust out the PowerPoint presentation. You show the results, right?
You could, but if the dude's saying he doesn't feel pressured, then none of that will matter. I think, and
then it'd be okay being the third option.
True. That I agree. But we've seen that work. Kyrie was the number 1, and then LeBron came back, and it worked for a couple of seasons. I mean, it worked in terms of getting a championship.
Yes.
But Kyrie left.
Yeah.
Kyrie wanted to be on his own. Can Donovan Mitchell? I'm not saying he has an ego issue, but as the number 1 person in the organization, can the organization look at you and say, "We're bringing in Giannis, you answer to Giannis"?
Double A.
We're bringing in LeBron, you answer to LeBron. I don't know if Donovan. I don't know if any man would do that.
Well, then he doesn't want to win. He doesn't want to win then, Double A. Do you want to be a superstar that never won a title? Go ask James Harden how's that's been going for in the last 16 years. Or do you want to be a great player that wins a championship? There's a lot of guys that have been okay stepping to the side, being a superstar or being that second option. I mean, we joke about the Miami Heat, and I know I'm dating myself. Chad just yelled at me for talking about something in 2018, so now I'm really dating myself. But you look at this, LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. Are you trying to tell me that Dwayne Wade had no issue with stepping down? I'm sure at one point he was like, "This is my squad. I've been with Miami my whole career. They are coming to my team
here. Like, what do we do?"
But Dwayne Wade understands the bigger mission, and that's why Dwayne Wade's one of the greatest players of all time. It's why he's in arguments of top 3 shooting guard of all time in the NBA's history, because he understood the assignment that I don't have to be on all the magazine covers and be the one last signing all the autographs. In fact, it'll be nice to chill and win, Chad. Exactly. Win. So does Donovan Mitchell want to be a superstar that doesn't win? Because you can look to your right or your left, wherever James Harden's standing on the court that day, and see how that's been going for him.
Charles Barkley was on some great teams, right? We don't remember him as being a winner. We remember him as maybe one of the better players in the history of the NBA to not have a championship. And that's not a personal, it's just the way that you're remembered. I'd rather be remembered as the third option on 5 championship teams than the best guy on a team that never got to the finals.
Yeah.
It's going to be a decision, and we'll talk more. That's a great question, Eli. We'll talk more about this question on Midnight Run later on. It's a decision that Donovan's going to have to make. Any organization, they're going to have to make, and Donovan's going to have to make. But other than Donovan's the one. That's the key. Everyone else, good riddance. And whatever. It's just, I don't care. Nobody cares. The fact that we're yelling, the fact that national media is yelling, you got Charles Barkley yelling, like, why is this team not as good as they could be? This and that. And this team does not care. They get, the only person that has shown fight is Jared Allen in Game 7. Yeah. Jared Allen played that Game 7, guys, like he was tired of being bullied. None of these guys,
I thought they turned the corner. I thought they were going to turn the corner when that happened, but here we are.
Here we are, folks, and here we are in the Inside Edge Network.
They
We
turned
don't
the
have a lot
corner and ran into a different wall. Sorry, I'm done.
We don't have a lot of smiles on our face tonight, but we are still happy to be with you here for the next 3 hours or so. 2 hours now. If I'm losing count of hours. I don't sleep. W Energy. Make sure you use the code InsideEdge10 first. For 10% off, and so you can stay awake with Eli Moon and the Inside Edge Network, because Double A is going to be up with you after us. Midnight Run with Anthony Alford. If that didn't let you know what he's going to talk about a little bit, then we're all missing the plot. But make sure you
We'll also talk about the Love Boat tonight. There's some developments.
The Love Boat. Like, subscribe, follow all the great stuff. Inside Edge Net on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure you follow, subscribe, like, all that, so you can stay tuned in with Cleveland's digital leader. That's us, the Inside Edge Network, and your source of sports, entertainment, mental health, conversations, news, and everything in between. And I know the Cavs disappointed us tonight, but you know what won't? The InsideEdgeNetwork.com. It's a great website. It's absolutely cool. I'm a little biased, but if I was unbiased, I'd say the same thing. It's great. You got the shop page and go over there, get some great hats, shirts, mugs, all the great stuff. There's so much to look at there. You go over to our partners page right above AA right now. It's a QR code. It takes you to the partners page. And you've seen from some of our great partners, of course, shout out to W Energy, sportsmemorabilia.com, Mosser Moments, Alley Rose Fragrances, and Fanatics. Yes. Of course, all our great partners. We appreciate you. If you're looking to become a partner of the Inside Edge Network, well, you know how to find us. Go reach out to AA, reach out to me, and reach out to Chad. Chad, he likes to hear from people, so reach out to him too. All right, InsideEdgeNetwork.com.
I'm very alone. I like to hear.
That's right, but hey, we'll work on that. InsideEdgeNetwork.com is the place to be. Inside Edge Network is the place where you should be on the stream. Of course, we'll have AA Anthony Alford at midnight. Chad and I will be back with you for some final thoughts on this Cavaliers post game. We'll try to make sense of it, and then we're going to pivot to some prime time, because why haven't we yelled enough? Let's talk about the Browns quarterback room a little bit later. This is the Cavaliers post-game show here on the Inside Edge Network. AA Anthony Alford, you'll see him later. Over to my right, your right, Chad Bryan in the middle, and I'm Eli Moon. Thank you. I'll take a bow. We're back after this.
Maser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by InsideEdge Network's very own Ryan Maser and his wife Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MaserMomentsPhotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. MaserMomentsPhotography.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to Fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's Fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime, Cavaliers Game 2 post-game show here on the Inside Edge Network. We let Double A go get some coffee. He needs it. Of course, to my right, your right, is the one and only, my bro, Chad Bryan. I'm Eli Moon. We're back, and we're not happy, but we only got a few moments left of Cavaliers talk because, my goodness, if we keep talking about them, Chad's going to turn into 60 years old. I'm going to hit my 30s before the end of the night. It's just not looking good, folks. But, yeah, Chad, yeah.
I don't normally get this fired up about the Cavs either. It's frustrating when you see a team that's got so much talent, so much potential, so much greatness ahead of them. It's a really well-built team. You've got 10, 11 guys you can trust in it. Well, I don't know. I was going to say you've got 10, 11 guys you can trust in a playoff rotation, but you've got 8 or 9 guys that you can trust in a playoff rotation. Unfortunately, 2 of those guys are your starters. But I feel like they just – I don't know if it – I know Donovan Mitchell doesn't feel pressure. It's fine. Is it just – is this a nerves thing? Is Donovan Mitchell feeling – as James Harden feeling – 17 years in the league, you would think this would be like – just a Sunday pickup game at the park, man. Like you go shoot around with some friends, and
that's exactly what this is right now for them. Because there's no
intensity's gone. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there's no ball movement. We're playing ISO ball to double.
Maybe they're too comfortable. Maybe they're just too. Maybe it's not a good thing to not feel pressure, right? Maybe you want to feel a little bit of pressure, and you don't have to succumb to the pressure, right? You don't have to give into it and collapse and crumble under it. You can feel it, and you can let it drive you. Like think of like Kobe Bryant, right? Kobe Bryant, I'm sure he felt pressure to go out there and not fail. A lot of the great players talk about that. They talk about you feel the pressure to not go out there and fail, right, in front of everyone. So to head that off, to beat that, what do? You push yourself until you reach that level of greatness that it's just I don't know if these guys have it in them, man.
I mean, the way they've been playing the last 2 games in Detroit, they know.
Yeah. I was going to say, great players elevate those around them, right? And I'll go back to my era because it's what I know best. Think about Michael Jordan. Think about the names that you know from that Bulls dynasty that you wouldn't know if they had played in Utah at the time, or Sacramento at the time, or wherever, right? Luke Longley, Craig Hodges. I mean, Craig Hodges was great. He won the 3-point contest, I believe. Great shooter, but he would just be a guy. John Paxson, Bill Cartwright. Just names that I'm trying to think of. Tony Kukoc was a really, really good player overseas. But if you think about some of the guys that, like, the names that you remember from those Bulls teams, it's because Jordan elevated those guys to like legendary status. They were legendary role players. They understood exactly what their role was. They understood exactly what the parameters around their game were. And they played within those parameters, and they did their job, and they did it really, really well. And that was it. They didn't try to do more. They wouldn't dare do less, right? Not with Jordan there. And they got it done. And
Chad, let me ask you this. What is the Cavaliers' identity?
Nobody knows.
So how can you win an NBA championship if you don't have an identity? You look at OKC. They were last year. They were young. They had an offense that moved very well, but they played in unison. They fought, much like this Detroit team. Yeah. They fought for every whistle, everything they wanted. They went out and got, and of course they had an MVP by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I get it. But hey, last time I checked the Detroit Pistons, the similarities are there. Cade Cunningham in the running for MVP. So you look at all of that, and you go, okay, OKC had an identity. Okay. You look at the Lakers. What was their identity? Well, LeBron and the team built around them, and that was the thing. And you look at some of these teams. What was Golden State's identity? Well, they shot the lights out of the ball until you couldn't stand it anymore. You look at the Spurs. It was the big three. That was their core. And they played a lot of defense and hit their open shots. And they made sure to make you pay if you left them open. Mm-hmm. Every championship team has had an identity. The Cavaliers don't have an identity.
Yeah, they don't. Trying to on the fly, and it's not working.
Some days they want to play defense. Some days they don't. Some days they want to give effort. Some days they don't. Some days they want to shoot the lights out of the ball. Some days they don't know how to hit this other side of a barn.
They're really good at that pick and roll, pick and pop game with Evan Mobley and, Donovan Mitchell, whatever, James Harden, Jared Allen down the post. Sometimes they literally cannot find each other with the ball. And a lot of that is James Harden dribbling the ball. It's the ISO ball. It's the turnovers. It's just
But they weren't doing that. They weren't doing that much ISO ball in the regular season. So why are we doing it now? Why are we switching? We were moving the ball. The whole big thing was Harden's moving the ball in the regular season. Harden's moving the ball. He's getting the bigs involved. Everybody's happy because everybody's getting fed the ball, and Jared Allen's getting off to an early start, and everything opens up from there. And then playoffs come, and James Harden goes, playoffs? Okay, well, let me just start playing ISO ball like I've done on every other team. James Harden,
run the ball for 21 seconds, and then we're gonna rush a shot up. No problem.
You're 36 years old, and I say that with all due respect because my co-host, my bro, is 46 years old. But I think if we sent Chad Bryan out there right now, I know 2 things.
Careful.
He'd give some effort.
Okay.
And he'd play defense. I don't know if he shoot very well. We're not asking for shots right now out of Chad
Listen,
Bryan.
Man,
We're
used
just
to
asking for
that
something.
was 100 years ago. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But the effort would be there, sure. And I think I would know my role. And my role would be to sit down on the end of the bench and never play. And, I'd clap really hard or whatever. I'd yell some stuff from down there. But
so you tell me you're Dylan Gabriel. Is that – oh, sorry.
Sure.
That's next segment.
No,
that's next segment.
Football 15 or 20 yards. Yeah, no. I mean, I think I could do that.
It's going to be a hot show tonight. Oh, it's already a hot show.
Listen, we're mad at everybody. It's not our fault. Blame the cat.
We're mad. We're angry. And that's what we got to say. No, I mean, it's just obviously, yes, we're frustrated, folks. And we try to keep it, a little lighthearted too, because we know, a lot of you tune in to hear Chad and I smiling and laughing. And we will have that in the next hour a little bit. We'll have some fun on Primetime, the edition of Primetime. But right now, last time I checked, for the last 9 minutes or so, this next 9 minutes, we still got to clean up what's going on with this Cavaliers. And, I'll ask you this, Chad. I mean, I think this is a perfect way to end the post-game section of our Primetime edition here. Again, Midnight Run with Anthony Alford after us here on the Inside Edge Network. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow all that great stuff at Inside Edge Net. Chad, I'll ask you this question.
Yeah.
What are the keys to game? I can't even believe I'm asking you this. I mean, it's the same shit, but what are the keys to game 3?
Well, it's a good question. And the answer is, again, You've got to take care of the basketball. They did that a little better tonight. You've got to hit shots, and you've got to play defense. You've got to at least close out and make someone look at a hand on some of these threes. I mean, the Pistons don't shoot the ball that well from deep, right? 50% on 3-point, 14 of 28. That's unacceptable for a team that doesn't shoot that well. I don't know. I mean, Duncan Robinson shouldn't be lighting you up hit 5 threes tonight. And they all felt big. They felt like fours. I mean, they were huge. Okay, so take care of the basketball. They did that a little better. They've got to get better in game 3 and game 4 and game 5 and game 6. It doesn't matter. I don't know if we're going to get to game 5, Eli, but you've got to be better at taking care of the basketball. You got to shoot. You got to hit open threes. The Cavs had open looks, believe it or not. It's not like the Pistons had 8 guys out there on defense, right? The Cavs had some open looks. They moved the ball, I thought, a little bit better at times tonight. They got some open looks. Where the number 7 of 32 from behind the 3-point. They're not knocking them down, right? And to your point, listen, we didn't have to watch Sam Merrill miss the corner 3 tonight. Didn't take any because he didn't play. But someone's got to knock down 3-point. You've got to hit your shots. When you have open shots in the NBA, there's really no excuse. All the arenas are the same. I've told you before, I think sometimes in college basketball, some of the smaller teams, right? They play in these tiny little gyms with like a wall right behind the hoop, right? And it can make it look different when you get into an arena with people back there, right? And darkness. It looks different. It literally makes the rim look smaller, right? It's like out there on an island by itself. It's harder sometimes when you're not used to that. That's not an excuse, but it's just a thing. I mean, it happens, right? That's not a thing in the NBA. All the arenas are the same. You're not playing in a new place. You're not playing somewhere you've never played before. There's no excuse to go into a place like Detroit, let the crowd dissuade you from being able to hit shots. I just don't understand. You've got to get more out of Evan Mobley. I thought Jared Allen actually played really well tonight. At first, I thought the reason that they stopped doing the James Harden, Jared Allen kind of fun passing thing. We were doing that during the regular season, right? I thought Jared Allen, okay, well, in the playoffs, he said it before. The lights get a little bright, whatever. Maybe he didn't want the ball. He's looked totally different the last 3 games. He didn't have a great game 1 because of the foul trouble, but I mean, again, 22 points tonight, 7 rebounds. He had 3 assists. He blocked a shot. He had a steal, only 1 turnover. That's a pretty good game, right? It's not bad. You can't really blame him for that.
But it's inconsistency. It's inconsistency, though, sure. Because unfortunately, there'll be another game or 2 where he gets into foul trouble or he puts up less than 10 points. Yeah. We're at the point now where they fooled us all. They fooled us all. Hold on.
Between now and game 3, they have to find an identity. I didn't mean to cut you off, but they need to find their identity and they need to fully lean into it and don't back down from it. And you've got to find something that works, a lineup, a rotation, something. I mean, start Dennis Schroeder. I don't know. I mean, try something different because what they're doing now is not working, Eli, at all.
Yeah, 100%. And what I was going to say is just that we're getting fooled by Harden and Allen going into a regular season, trying to convince ourselves that 2 guys that literally cannot play in the playoffs consistently well, and that's how we're going to run our offense. So, that's what I had to say on that too.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. I like I said, I don't get this fired up usually about the Cavs. I watch, I'm like, okay, I can dissect what they did or didn't do, but this is frustrating. These were 2 winnable games.
Yeah,
I mean, 1,000%.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, we can force them to try or all that. I mean, they gotta want it.
What they say, if my aunt had certain parts, she'd be my uncle. It's whatever too.
Yeah, exactly. So with that being said, we're gonna put a bow on the Cavs post game. When we come back, we are going to transition to Inside Edge Primetime. Got a lot of stuff to talk about with you. We'll keep an eye on the Browns quarterback room. We'll talk about that and of course a lot more. Don't go anywhere. We're back for a whole nother hour of Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Right after this.
Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at SportsMemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the SportsMemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to SportsMemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. SportsMemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Hey guys, Kyle Hill from Unfiltered. What a fantastic show we had today. Talked a lot about, again, the different threats we were seeing in local schools. Again, multiple districts dealing with bomb threats. We talked about metal detectors. Again, is that a possibility? That crazy story out of Georgia with the mayor that fired all the police force for essentially talking shit about his wife. That was nuts. And of course, the Hanavirus, the Cavs, and so much more coming up on your Friday, including the Cavs. Did they get the job done? We'll talk about it. We'll see you on Unfiltered, 5 o'clock tomorrow.
And welcome back to officially Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right. Again, that would be your right. And I'm Eli Moon. We're tired, folks. We're tired. But we're not tired enough to give you great content. We're just tired of the Cavaliers. And we're going to spend some time here. We're going to dive into the Cleveland Browns in just a little bit here. Next segment, and keep you waiting just a little bit longer. I got some choice words. Chad tried to calm me down. He said, Eli, are you sure? You know, you're Irish, you're angry, you have corned beef and potatoes rushing through your veins, you're turning into the Incredible Hulk. I said, Chad, sometimes a man's got to do what a man's got to do. And that's what you'll hear in segment 2. So make sure you stay tuned in for that. But we're going to just do a roundup here of the NBA playoffs. Some stories that have caught my attention, Chad, and doesn't necessarily always mean on the court. Jaylen Brown, he's been kind of going at almost anybody, it seems like nowadays. And I spent a lot of time talking about Jaylen Brown earlier this week about how I believe he has played his last game as a Boston Celtic. Yeah. And with everything he has been doing recently, Chad, you know, at the post-game press conference, okay, Embiid flopped. Okay, then it's on the stream, Embiid flopped, and it's a flopping league, and this and that. And then he found out very quickly that like Double A said on Midnight Run earlier this week. You can get fined by the officials even if you're on your stream. So he's doing that. And then just talking about how it's the best season he's ever had, but you won an NBA championship just a few years ago with Jason Tatum. That's just very odd behavior. It'd be like if we had one of the greatest weeks of Inside Edge Primetime and Chad had to miss next week for vacation, which he won't. He'll be here with me, that I know of. And, then we have...
Am I going on vacation? Sounds great.
And then I go, man, this was the greatest week of Inside Edge Primetime we've ever had. I mean, Chad be feeling some type of way. So I'd imagine Jason Tatum and those guys are feeling some type of way. Brad Stevens, the president of basketball operations, had to go over Jaylen Brown questions. You're already having to answer for a 3-1 deficit. You're having to answer for all this. And now you have to answer if the guy you just paid a ton of money a few years ago is even wanting to be in Boston. Jaylen Brown comes out after and goes, well, I'm sorry, I hate that I even had to go over this. Don't question my loyalty to Boston. I could see myself in Boston for the next 10 years. I think it's interesting he said could, not I will be, or, you just signed a contract. So all that to be said, Chad, I'm curious your thoughts. All that to be said, he most recently getting into arguments with Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith from ESPN's First Take telling him, be quiet, be quiet, if you basically, just stop. And Jaylen Brown said, I'll be quiet. I'm paraphrasing, but he basically tweeted back, said, I'll be quiet when, you be quiet and retire because that's what the world wants, essentially. And it's Stephen A. Smith goes back at him. You can go read it on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. You can go read it. I mean, they're going back and forth. Stephen A. Smith, like, we're just trying to look out for you. And it's like, usually I disagree with Stephen A. on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But enough's enough, man.
Yeah.
Enough's enough. When are you going to have accountability? I mean, everybody has looked out for Jaylen Brown, has defended him. It said he could be the superstar, could be the number one guy on the team. We found out in Game 7 he can't be. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. We've been having that conversation with Donovan Mitchell. So, Chad, I mean, when's enough? Is this enough with Jaylen Brown? I mean, how can you repair a relationship that, as much as they're trying to say right now in front of us, isn't damaged? Sure feels pretty damaged, bro.
Yeah, I think it's enough. Listen, everybody is entitled to have their own opinion, right? And that's fine. And you've got your podcast, your show. You can say things. And yeah, I mean, we have, we have certain freedoms. We're allowed to say how we feel, right? Unfortunately, when you play for a team, when you represent a franchise that is, one of a few franchises that are representing the NBA, there are consequences to those things that you say. You can't just, you can't freely, you just can't do this, right? Like they always talk about like, the great players, the great teams keep it in house, right? Mm-hmm. Listen, I get it, man. Jaylen Brown's frustrated, but I think there's a proper way to air that frustration, and then there's what he's been doing over the last few days. Yeah, I don't always agree with Stephen A. Smith. I think Stephen A. Smith is, I wouldn't say he annoys me or anything. I wouldn't say that I want him to retire. I wouldn't say that, anything. But there are times when he talks when I'm like, I wish Stephen A. Smith wasn't talking right now, right? It happens. I think it happens with everybody who has an opinion on anything and says anything. Yeah. Sometimes you're just like, man, why are you talking right now? And then you remember that you have the remote in your hand. You're like, wait, why am I listening right now? And it's kind of the same with Jaylen Brown, man. I don't think anybody really wants to hear excuses on why he didn't do this or why he couldn't do that. It's just find a way to go get it done. This is what the great players do. Whether you're the first option, the second option, the third option, if you're a great player, the cream rises to the top, right? Like you find a way to get it done. The average to below average players, the guys that fade away, even though they have the talent, they're the guys that make the excuses, and they want everybody to side with them. I think that's what Jaylen Brown wants right now. Jaylen Brown just wants someone to agree with him. He just wants someone to tell him, hey, man, it's not your fault, right? It's not your fault. You're not going to get that. When you get paid this kind of money from the Celtics or from any team in any professional sports league, there are certain expectations. One of the expectations is to find a way to get it done. We are looking squarely at people like Donovan Mitchell, right? Mm-hmm. You're supposed to find a way to get it done. To Donovan Mitchell's, defense, I mean, he did say a little bit about the officials and some fouls and things like that, but we don't want to hear the excuses. And I don't care. Listen, I don't care if they're justified. I don't care if we can all watch Jaylen Brown get fouled on 17 consecutive trips down the floor. We don't want to hear you talk about it on your podcast. We just want to see you get it done. We want to see you go out, find a way to win basketball games at the NBA level in the playoffs, and pull your team to the NBA Finals. That's what great players do. That's what we want to see. I'm not saying he's wrong about any of it. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. That's not the point. I just think you have to stop saying it out loud. We all know your stance. We all know your opinion. We know what your point that you're trying to get across is. We've heard it loud and clear.
Mm-hmm.
Now move on. Please move on. I mean, for your own good. Good God, man. Stephen A. told you. I mean, just move on. Move on and concentrate on the offseason and figure out what you're doing. Are you staying in Boston? Are you playing there for 10 years? Could you stay? Won't you stay? Will you? We don't know. But we don't want to hear the excuses. We just want to see Jaylen Brown figure it out and get it done. We don't want to see that as Cavs fans. But that's in general. I'm saying we just don't want to hear you talk about it. We want to see you be about it. I know that's a cliche thing to say, but it's the truth.
Yeah, you're spot on, pal. Now I will say this: you did say Jaylen Brown. He's looking for somebody to say it's not your fault. So
yeah,
here I am. I will do it. I got you. Here we go. Let me make sure I look right. Here in the camera, Jaylen Brown. It is not your fault. It is not your fault, Jaylen Brown, that you cannot carry a team as the number one option. It is not your fault, Jaylen Brown, that you're upset about the same stuff that you do on the court. It's Jaylen Brown. It's not your fault that the Celtics paid you so much money. And since that contract, what have we got out of that? Jaylen Brown, it's not your fault that Brad Stevens had to go answer to the media and say, Jaylen Brown, we haven't heard anything bad about it. He seems like he wants to be here. Jaylen Brown, it's not your fault that you're getting into an argument with almost everybody on Twitter. If you wanted to get into an argument on Twitter, something that could be your fault is going at real Chad Bryan. Just be careful because I'll have his back. But if you want to, if you want somebody to just hear you out, you can hit us up. I mean, we'll listen. Because it's not your fault. It's okay, Jaylen Brown. Here's what I've understood. It's not your fault that you just aren't an A-level superstar. You fall under the B+ category. You were very, very good, Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, B+ you
were very good.
Degrees. If C's get degrees, B+ will get them too, right?
And they'll win a championship if there's an A-level player there. Unfortunately for the Celtics, their A-level player, Jason Tatum, was out Game 7. So that's what you get. So Jaylen Brown, on behalf, of one Eli Moon, I'll save it just for me. I won't necessarily speak. I don't know. This probably isn't network-wide. But I will say it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you just aren't on the level of some of your peers.
And listen, he can cut those. He can take those clips and he can cut them up, and you can just hear. You can hear Eli Moon say, "Jaylen Brown, it's not your fault. Jaylen Brown, it's not your fault. Jaylen Brown, it's not your fault." He can hear that over and over again. I don't know if that's exactly the way he wanted to hear it, but hey, you did tell him it wasn't his fault. I think the great players are not talking on podcasts about this is why this didn't happen, or this player does this. I don't like that. The great players, when they lose, they get to the gym, right, and they put up 1,500 shots a day, and they're whatever, they're working on some perceived weakness, or as a player, in your mind and your heart, what you're good at and what your strengths and weaknesses are, right? It's easy to go to the gym and say, hey, I'm a really good 3-point shooter. I'm gonna put up 1,000 threes and I'll hit 800 of them with no defense, and I'm gonna feel really good about it because I just saw 800 shots go through the net. But I think great players go hammer on their weaknesses, right? You're not good going to your left. The great players will spend hours going to their left, right? You're not good at anything. I don't have to give a bunch of examples. I think you get what I'm getting at. Get in the gym, right? And work on those things that are holding you back from being that A-level superstar that can drag your team to an NBA title. Don't worry about the officials. Don't worry about Joel Embiid. Don't worry about any of that stuff, man. Just go get it done.
Yeah, it just really is just. I want to do the math on this. We're gonna have to sit down here. We have a show tomorrow. This is usually our Friday. Tomorrow's our Friday. It's your Friday as well. So we'll be with you.
Friday will be our Friday. That's going to be very consistent. I like that.
Absolutely. Here on Inside Edge Network. And make sure you follow Inside Edge Net. Like, subscribe, follow, all the great stuff. I want to do the math, Chad.
Yeah.
And we'll sit down in the morning. We talk throughout the day, obviously.
Do I have to show my work? Am I doing math? You're the only one doing math, right?
We're going to combine, but we'll use a calculator.
Okay,
yeah.
All right.
I wonder how many titles have been won by podcasting athletes since they've been podcasting. But you bring up a great point. Jaylen Brown. I'm pretty sure the podcast hadn't started until after the NBA championship. We'll fact check it tomorrow, but I'm almost positive. Draymond Green. Last time I checked, I think since he started his podcast, I don't think they've won a championship. And we're talking about the end of the Warriors run. You look at and we love the Kelseys. There wasn't many Super Bowls, if not any, after they started up, that run. So they might.
Is that these athletes moving on to the next thing? Are we seeing them like? Is that the de facto, like, you haven't retired yet, but they're already moving on to the next thing, or like mentally?
It was weird. I'm glad you brought that up. Sorry to interrupt, pal, but I'm glad you brought that up. It's interesting because Draymond Green yesterday, we'll have to see if we can get the clip for tomorrow. We'll play it tomorrow. We'll discuss it a little bit more because I thought who was wrong. We'll break down. We'll run the tape again. We'll see whose side are you on, Team Chuck or Team Draymond. I don't think anybody in Cleveland's going to be Team Draymond at this point, but we'll see. You heard Draymond, just a quick paraphrase of that exchange we'll play tomorrow is, him going, there's different levels of success. We understand that maybe the window is closing or closed, but it's about getting the next generation ready. Mm-hmm. But I just don't understand. I don't understand how being on a podcast and talking about every single thing that goes on in your organization and everything like that. And I don't understand how that benefits you. If you want to be a podcaster, that is fine. Be a podcaster. We would appreciate the game. I'm not going to sit there and say Draymond Green isn't entertaining to listen to on his podcast. He does give some good game. But if you're part of the Warriors organization, or if you're with Jaylen Brown, part of the Boston Celtics organization, you got to be like, why are we doing this right now? Yeah. We haven't won a title. Boston a little bit less than Golden State, but we haven't won a title in some time. We need to go back and win another one. And instead, they're doing all this podcasting. So I actually personally invite any of these athletes that podcast, Draymond Green and Jaylen Brown. You seem to be the two that have a lot to say recently. So if either one of you would love to come on to Inside Edge Primetime, have a conversation with Chad and I. This isn't between Chad. I don't want you to take it on Chad. I want to have a conversation though. Chad will definitely help.
Yell at me if you want. I don't care. It's fine.
Chad will have some questions too. But I want to just know. I just want to know how exactly are you benefiting the team with doing this? Your brand's already impeccable if you're Draymond Green. Your brand's already impeccable if you're Jaylen Brown.
Yeah. For the record, I would take Draymond Green on this Cavs team immediately right now. Double A said it a couple weeks ago on the show. I agreed then. I nodded very profusely when he said it. I have nothing against Draymond Green. I would. My goodness, if we could have him on this roster right now, I would take him. Even maybe a couple years past all the the championships or whatever. I think he's still that type of player that the Cavs need. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Continue.
No, you're good. You're good. No, I just that was it, Chad. I think I'm gonna stick my stake in the ground.
Okay.
And that's what I'm doing it on behalf of Inside Edge Primetime. You're going with me. And again, Jaylen Brown, Draymond Green, you see the ads? That's for Instagram for me. That's everything for Chad. Reach out.
We'd love to hear from you. Yeah.
Yeah. If you need my email, if you need to get a hold of me another way, reach out. Let's just have a conversation.
My phone. I want to understand. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, no, don't do that. But I do. Okay, here's a quick point though. While we're talking about podcasting, before we move on, I just thought of a really interesting topic. We could make this a whole segment. I would love to talk about and get some thoughts on you, and maybe even from Double A one night on Midnight Run. Who are some athletes from the past before podcasting was a thing that you wish you could go back in time and watch them during their run have a podcast? Scottie Pippen immediately just popped into my mind, and it made me smile when you were talking. I thought, can you imagine if Pippen had a podcast from back in the day when the Bulls were winning championships, and then Pippen going on and being like, well, we all know who the best player in the NBA is. It's clearly me. Because those are the kind of things that would have come up on that podcast. Mm-hmm. We didn't know that Pippen thought that until years after, right? We didn't know.
Yeah.
Didn't get out of those organizations. They didn't come out of the locker room, right?
And Chad, I'll answer the question for you. There wouldn't have been 6 rings.
No, that whole dynasty would have been torn apart. The
last dance would have been like 5 years sooner.
Yep. And I took that personal, right? And I think that it would have been it could have been a whole mess. That's a fun topic though, man. We got to remember that one.
Yeah. Well, somebody write it down. All right. Somebody at home write it down and remind us. All right. No, with that being said, we're going to take a quick pause here, folks. We are still having a blast with it despite the Cavs loss. When we come back, we have some things to say about the Cleveland Browns quarterback room and just a lot of discussion. And folks,
More than
we have to talk about this. Yes, Chad. More than there. Yes, I couldn't have said it better myself. We're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns when we come back. And then when we come back after that, we have final thoughts to end the show. You're not going to want to miss what Chad and I have to say. Share our final thoughts before we put a bow on this thing and hand it over to Double A, Anthony Alford for Midnight Run. Of course, make sure, again, like, subscribe, follow all the great stuff, Inside Edge Net on all the socials, and check out the website, InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Check out our great partners page. You've heard from them. W Energy, AliosFragrances.com, SportsMemorabilia.com, Monster Moments, and Fanatics.com. Great stuff from all of our great partners. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you at home. We're dealing with our craziness tonight. We're a little hot tonight. So thank you.
Man. Woo.
Yes, thank you so much for choosing us as Cleveland's digital leader, your source of sports, entertainment, mental health conversations, news, and everything in between. Little song for you. Keep your mood a little light. Of course, that's Chad Bryant to my right. You're right. I'm Eli Moon. This is Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. We're back talking Cleveland Browns and quarterbacks.
With auto-tune. Oh, I need that.
Auto-tune?
Yeah, I need that, not you.
Me. Back after this.
Boy, if you missed last night's Midnight Run, where were you? You missed out the fun. Myself and my friends, we were here, Eli and Omar. We had our first installment of Midnight Conversations. Folks, we got into it. What is the true definition of a living room? If you're dead or unalive, come on, guys. Come on. We had a whole discussion about that. It got unhinged, Eli.
It sure did, Double A. We finally have made it to the unhinged behavior that the folks and the fans out there have been waiting for. And yeah, I mean, a living room is a living room, you know?
Omar, do you agree with that?
Ask the ghosts in my house. They might have another answer for you.
Unbelievable. If you missed it last night, you need to go back and watch Midnight Run. Also, shout out to my buddy Spencer German. We talk Cavaliers and Browns, reacting to Pistons and Cavs. Speaking of which, coming up tonight, hopefully, we're celebrating a Game 2 victory. We better be celebrating a Game 2 victory or off. I'm going to go off on this. We'll see you later tonight. Midnight Run at midnight right here on the Inside Edge Network.
Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at SportsMemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the SportsMemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to SportsMemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. SportsMemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
All right, listen, folks. The Cavs had me flustered. We usually need the station ID, so you know where you're at. The Inside Edge Network at the top of the hour. Before Double A Anthony Alford goes off on me like he did on James Harden, I was going to avoid that. So just a reminder, you're here listening to the greatest alternative that you could look for, Cleveland's digital leader. This is the Inside Edge Network. Follow us at Inside Edge Net, all the great stuff. Chad, Brian, Eli, Moon, usually have an elaborate intro, but of course, got to remind you where you're at here on the Inside Edge Network. I'll tell you where we're not at, Chad. Well, I take it back. We are in bizarro land. The Cavaliers are down 0-2, and we're talking about Browns quarterbacks. I mean,
I'm going to be honest with you. You froze up on my screen. I wish I knew what you said to me. I heard you say my name. That was really weird, but that's all.
I just said we're in Bizarro land, kinda.
Yes.
Cavs
Yes,
are
we are.
down 0-2.
Ah.
And then the Browns are talking about quarterbacks again.
My goodness. Has any position room ever in the NFL been talked about more and done less than the Browns quarterback room? Is it possible?
Dude. All right, listen. So let's just get to the skinny of this thing. All right. I sent you this clip, you and AA this clip yesterday. And I'm going to be very, very careful how I go about this.
All right.
But I have some words to get off my my chest, some things to get off my chest.
Yeah.
Tonight I'm wearing Golden Child Eli Moon.
There you go. I am wearing this, which I got ripped up for in the comments earlier, and I forgot. I was like, "What's Derpy talking about?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot what shirt I was wearing."
Yeah, Derpy's on top of it. Now, what I will say is,
appreciate him for that.
Yes, sir. What I will say is, some people, unfortunately, in this city, are not on top of it when it comes to the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
A tale as old as time. The quarterback, we had him, we let him go. We've tried to find one since.
I thought you were gonna start singing Beauty and the Beast. Okay, all right, my bad. We're good.
That'll be on the when we set up like the Patreon or something.
The 3 a.m. show.
Yeah. No, all jokes aside. Yeah, dude, it's frustrating. And I was scrolling through social media yesterday. We didn't get to it yesterday because we wanted to make sure we first off highlighted something very important to Chad and I and everybody here on the Inside Edge Network, which is mental health, and May being Mental Health Awareness Month. Again, reminder, check on your friends, check on your loved ones, check on the person you may have just ran into a few weeks ago. You know, he or she may need that love too.
Yeah.
So today, however, Chad, there's no more escaping it. There's no more escaping it. And I know you've tried to calm me down. You said, Eli, dude, you're so happy all the time. Eli, like, you have a smile on your face. Eli, like, and I said, Chad, stop telling me to calm down. Did you not watch Midnight Run last night?
Yeah, I forgot about that. I said, immediately I said, calm down. And it was the tone at which I said, I was like, Eli, calm down. And I think I said it a little bit too angrily.
You've never yelled at me like that loud?
No, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I didn't say it. Yeah, that's my fault.
You got me all worried, pal. Like, you got me all flustered because you were yelling at me. You never yelled at me before. I said, look, dude, It's not me. In fact, this is courtesy, this video of ESPN Cleveland. This is Tony Grossi, Browns reporter, talking with Aaron Goldhammer, I believe is in the clip. So take a look here and we'll react after.
Gabriel's a guy who'll keep quiet. He'll just study. He'll stay up on the game plan. He'll support the starter in any way he can. He'll run the scout team, and if needed, he'll play. I mean, that's what you want out of a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
And Shador's just his shadow is just so huge. I really think that's one of the reasons, Jake, that teams shied away from him in the draft. If you didn't like him as a starter, you didn't consider him as a backup.
Chad, my bro, where would you like me to start?
I'm just going to mute my mic and you start. Sorry,
okay.
The beginning.
Okay, I'll start at the beginning. I want to preface this by saying, all due respect to Tony Grossi, he's been in the game a lot longer than me. He's been reporting a lot longer than me. And this is not necessarily just at Tony Grossi. But I'm having a tough time. Again, respect to everybody out there that has an opinion that's been in the game a lot longer than me. You're here for a reason. I'm having a tough time. And this is me. This is, again, the Rob Ruzicki would do this on Main Event. So I'm going to take a page out of Rob's book. Rob, if you're listening, don't get used to it. I don't do it very often, but I'll do it tonight. The following statements are not necessarily reflective of the Inside Edge Network or one Chad Bryan or anything else. AA Anthony Alford, anybody except for one Eli Moon. With that being said, I'm having a tough time with the agenda on Shador Sanders. I'm having a tough time understanding a few things. So maybe you could help me figure this out, Chad. I'm having a tough time understanding how a guy who was talked about as being maybe the first, if not second quarterback off of the board, that was in videos, all of the draft buildup, every freaking media outlet had him throwing the ball with Cam Ward and talking about who was first, Shador or Cam Ward, and who was going to have a better career, and we'll be following their careers for the rest of time. And the talks of how he turned Colorado into at least something relevant, and the talks of, and not just talks, go look it up, one of the best completion percentages in college football history. So I'm having a tough time as I just start racking my head around it. And I get confused from time to time. I'm not going to say I know everything. So forgive me if I'm just having a tough time, first off, understanding the slide to the 5th round. Because if you look at it based off just the play, he didn't throw last time I checked at the NFL Combine. So he did his pro day. But anybody had to look at him really in-game action was him playing efficient at Colorado. Yeah. Let's also be real with each other and everybody out there that Colorado is not a bona fide football powerhouse. It has the name recognition it does right now because of guys like Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter. Yeah. And obviously Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. So let's draw a comparison here. Now let's connect the dots. Here I am. I'm connecting the dots. I'm figuring it out. So Deion Sanders, so one of the greatest players probably ever in the NFL. But what didn't people like about him, Chad? Oh, that he was opinionated, that he was a confident man that happened to speak his mind. And unfortunately for the naysayers, Deion always won. Deion always won. Now, he's not like a 6-7 time Super Bowl champion, but he's won at life. Yeah. And unfortunately, in this world, sometimes people hate seeing people win. Yeah. And that's been a thing with Deion Sanders. And now it seems the same agenda is out on his son, Shador Sanders. And I'm going to be very clear by saying that. I'm having a tough time understanding how he slid first off to the 5th round. Yeah. And then I'm having a tough time. Let me back up here before I get in further. I'm having a tough time understanding that because Todd Monken, the new head coach of the Cleveland Browns, said they were trying to draft him in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So obviously, all this talk of teams shying away from him and not wanting him as a backup, Mr. Grossi, with all due respect, is asinine. Because Baltimore's OC from last year just told you in a video a month ago that they wanted him. And were they going to play him behind Snoop Huntley with all due respect? We're giving the respect to everybody to Snoop Huntley. Come on, Chad. So then we get to the regular season. Back up. Preseason. And we're hearing the talks that Dylan Gabriel, meanwhile, the Browns taking him in the 3rd round. Mm-hmm. I think I threw a farther pass in my backyard the other day than Dylan Gabriel completed all last season. Yeah. And I'm so tired. I have been cool about whatever. We'll talk about the on the field. Here's the on the field for a moment. Mm-hmm. Shador Sanders was dealing with a busted offensive line that is old and injured. He was dealing with Jerry Jeudy as his wide receiver 1, who has been dropping everything. That is the reason the Browns just got 2 receivers in Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston. That is the reason. He has literally no offensive weapons except for the 2 rookies in the same class as him, which meanwhile, Quinshon Judkins out for the last few games of the season. Harold Fannin missed the last game of the year. And what did the Browns do in those games with Shador Sanders starting the football game?
I think they won.
Thank you, Chad. I appreciate you, and I'm going to get you here in a moment. I know you.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing I didn't really mute my mic, right? Yeah,
it is, and I would never have you mute your mic. I appreciate you so much. What I don't appreciate is when we're on an agenda-based mission.
Yeah.
As media, and I know we're media. We're obviously here on the Inside Edge Network, but the difference is we don't have to follow whoever is pushing whatever. We can speak our mind, and I'm going to tonight because I'm pissed. I am pissed. And AA, I know you're listening somewhere. I have neighbors, but they do not mind if I get a little loud when there's some bullshit going on. And there's bullshit going on in Cleveland right now because somebody, please tell me when Dylan Gabriel was the better quarterback in college or in the NFL. Stats. I'm not talking teams. Oh my goodness, I'm not talking teams because obviously Oregon's a better football organization, college, than Colorado. We're not talking that. But when we look at the X's and O's, the stats, please, this is an open invite. I'm sending them all out today. This is an open invite to anybody that thinks Dillon Gabriel is a better viable option in the depth chart than Shedeur Sanders. I just want to have a conversation. Maybe I wasn't seeing what you were seeing. Like, I just want to have a conversation because truthfully, how can Tony Grossi sit here again? All due respect to all the years he's done. How can he and other reporters sit here and continually say that Dillon Gabriel is going to be a better option? And if Shedeur doesn't win the job, he goes to quarterback 3. What are we talking about? Because why, Chad? Because he'll listen, he'll root on the starter, and he's such a good soldier. Tony Grossi, we are respectfully playing football. I don't give a shit if the backup is rooting for the starter. I want the starter to win football games. Yeah. And last time I checked, Shedeur Sanders won football games with a very inept offense. So
almost to the dismay, really quickly, almost to the dismay of Browns fans. Do you remember how people, you're ruining our draft stat? We were gonna have a top 5 pick. Okay, so your problem with Shedeur is that he won. And here I'm gonna respond to some things that you said.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people, and I was thinking I could play devil's advocate here. I could go in for Dillon Gabriel and I could say, well, he threw less interceptions. Listen, if you can't get the ball past the line of scrimmage to the other team, they can't pick it off. There's that. Also, Dillon Gabriel, if anyone, and you can have a selective memory if you want, but I can remember at least 5 to 7 passes that hit defenders square in the chest, square in the hands, that got dropped, that probably should have been picked, right? So you can say, well, so he throws an uncatchable ball. Okay, well, that's not advocating for putting him back there. If he can't catch his ball, I don't care if you're defending. Whatever, that was a joke. But here's my thing with Dillon Gabriel.
Thank you for the smile for a half second.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Try to make you happy.
Because my dad said real quick. Papa Moon used to say when I was growing up, he's like, "Stop frowning all the time. You know, if you make your face like this, it's gonna get stuck." And I was, to this day, I still get scared of frowning too long. Back to you.
Yeah, you don't get your face stuck. Really, in any position, because then you're just stuck like that. It's terrible. The first Batman movie. Anyway, okay, all right, let's move on. Dillon Gabriel. I saw him struggle to throw the ball 20 yards downfield. I didn't see that. And can we talk about how many times the Browns offense scored 20 points or more with Dillon Gabriel at the helm? Can we list the number of rookie quarterbacks last year that had 300+ yard passing games? Can we please talk about the number of times the Browns could actually push the ball down the field? Just in one play, in one drive, and whatever. They had an actual deep threat. Shedeur Sanders had 0 time. Sometime we're going to have Ryan Mosser on, and we're really going to break down the offensive line metrics. Like the time that Shedeur Sanders had in the pocket from snap to whatever happened next. Usually it was running for his damn life. But we can break down all those numbers. We can talk about all the pass protection percentages and all the time to throw and the percentage of a clean pocket that Shedeur Sanders had versus the rest of the league. I think if you don't know, you'll be shocked. You will be absolutely shocked at how many times Shedeur Sanders literally would take a snap and within 2 seconds of holding the football be running for his life. Sometimes backwards. I get it. He's got to work on that. But listen, there were times when the Browns offense looked explosive under Shedeur Sanders, and then he would make a bad throw, as rookies do from time to time. And you can say the same thing about Dillon Gabriel. Well, hey, wait, he was a rookie too. Yeah, but when you can't throw the ball 15 yards, I mean, Eli, that's not an exaggeration. I saw him, and sometimes rookie quarterbacks will airmail a ball, and you throw it over the whatever, and the safety picks it off, and you go, okay, we got to rein that in a little bit. But it was the other way with Dillon Gabriel. He has a guy open 18 yards down the field. He throws it 11 yards into the turf. That's insane. How do you watch a football? I'm sure Tony Grossi, and all respect to Tony Grossi, has been doing it for a long time, way longer than me. He's been doing it way better than I do it, right? But here's the thing. How could you watch a football game how could you see that with your eyes and then go, Yeah, he's the better option. I think that's for what?
You know why? Because this organization hates confidence.
Okay, and is that
this
what
organization hates confidence?
Why does anyone hate Shedeur Sanders? What has he done on the field or off the field to truly make you hate him? And I know I know the example, the watch celebration. Okay. You didn't have fun when you were 18, 19, 20, 21 years old? I mean, I did some stuff that, man, if there was social media, I would look back and be like, that was dumb. He's having fun, man. The kid's confident in himself. We don't want a quarterback to be confident in himself?
Chad, he is so, he's doing all the right things, too. That's
I didn't like his dad. Hold on, I'm not done yet. I didn't like his dad. That's not his fault. That's not his fault. I don't like that he got his number retired at Colorado. That's stupid. Maybe. Yeah. It's not his fault. Right? These things are not his fault. You're taking things that are outside. They're outliers around Shedeur Sanders, and you're making those that you're finding something. You're finding a reason to hate a kid who's done absolutely nothing since he's come in here, but be a great ambassador for the Cleveland Browns. He's been excellent off the field, and he's got some things to work on the field. Have we forgotten how bad Peyton Manning was? And I'm not saying that Shedeur Sanders is going to be Peyton Manning. I'm just saying, have we forgotten how bad Peyton Manning was, by the way, with some weapons around him in Indianapolis on the field his rookie season? My goodness, it looked like he didn't even understand. It looked like he had never played football before. And look what he did. Right. I'm spitting. I'm so mad. You can make progress, right? You can develop. You give the kid time, and I think you might be a little bit surprised. I mean, people bring up the air yards per attempt. Well, they were low. They were just above Dylan Gabriel's in college. They're the same. These guys they had similar numbers. Dylan Gabriel played on one of the most explosive offenses I've ever seen.
Right.
Shedeur Sanders was playing in Colorado, not the Rashawn Salam days, not whatever. Take whatever era of Colorado football when it was great or good or above average or whatever. It wasn't this era until they got there. They weren't relevant until the Sanders family got there. And say what you want about him. You can like him personally, you can dislike him personally, but facts are facts. He may not deserve to have his number retired at Colorado. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. That's not his fault. I can't hold that against him. He was the more explosive quarterback. He looked like the better option. He looked like when the Browns offense was on the field under Shedeur Sanders, when he was at the helm, it looked like they could move the football. They could score points. Again, the only rookie quarterback in the NFL all season last year that had a 300-plus yard passing game. That's it. It's him.
Correct. And here's the thing. I just want to be clear that, again, everything we're saying is factual, folks. And we are talking statistics. And Chad and I aren't math guys.
Yeah.
We're not math guys. We've made it very clear. We were going to do Mathematics Monday here on this show, and Chad shut it down so quick. We aren't able to do Mathematics Monday.
It didn't add
calculators.
Yeah.
Listen, dude. All right. Enough out of you. I'm trying to be serious for a minute. Listen. Shedeur's doing all the right things. I'm not going to get mad for a second. I'm going to breathe.
Yeah.
Shedeur's doing all the right things. He's showing up. Brown's Twitter's been showing, and social media's been showing him walking in. He's the first one in the building. Todd Monken's loving Shedeur being there. He has nothing but great things to say about Shedeur. All of this. He's doing all the right things. There's maybe two things you could say, I guess, about Shedeur, right? If you want to. Mm-hmm. Is the mime thing when he was, with the third string and he didn't say anything to the media and everybody freaked out. Okay, whatever. If you want to hold that against him, okay. All right. Gotcha. If you want to do that, and I guess if you want to look at the Shiloh Sanders stuff, I do think the comment was very poor taste and it should not have been said.
No.
The comment towards Mary Kay Cabot, I don't think that should have been said. It was very poor taste, and Shiloh does need to look at himself because we're not here. Oh my goodness, this topic gets me so mad because then it's like we're going to get a bunch of people saying, oh, you're just pro Shedeur. I'm just pro give the guy a fighting chance because
I'm pro whatever quarterback gives us the chance to win, meaning the Browns, not us. I don't play for the Browns.
Us too.
Oh, yeah, but whatever. If he gives me a chance to win, that's great, but I don't play football anymore. Whatever quarterback plays for the Browns, I don't care who it is. If you could put the spot shadow, right, over whoever, and let's say you couldn't tell, you could just pixelate the quarterback, right? I think there's a clear difference. You can tell when Dylan Gabriel was on the field to the difference of what it looked like when Shedeur Sanders was on the field.
Correct.
A clear difference in the way the offense moved. And it wasn't great all the time, but we saw what happened. The offensive line absolutely fell apart. Again, I can't wait to have Ryan on. We're going to break all this down. We'll give him plenty of time so we can get all the numbers. Again, facts, not opinions. There'll be facts. There'll be factual numbers of how bad the offensive line was, and just how bad that receiver room was. And we're acting like so. And how I don't understand how you think if you could watch football. Again, sometimes numbers can be a little skewed. A couple touchdowns here, a couple picks there, whatever. How can you think that Dylan Gabriel would give this team a better chance to win? And again, nothing against Dylan Gabriel. I don't mean this isn't personal at all. I don't have a personal agenda for or against anyone. I was going to say on this roster, save for Deshaun Watson. I can't stand all the off-field stuff with him. I'll be honest with you. It bothers me.
I'm with you. And to finish your statement, Chad, it's not personal towards Dylan Gabriel. It's just business.
Yeah.
And this is what it comes down to. And we got to go to break here in a second. Yeah. I appreciate your thoughts because I thought I was going crazy. I watched this clip and I thought I was going crazy.
Why?
I was like, no way, bro. I listened to Chad's spooky stories 2 weeks ago and I thought that was the craziest shit I've heard. Then I heard this. So
we gotta get Omar on and talk about whatever's going on in his house, man.
You guys two peas in a pod, apparently.
Omar's house, much like this Browns quarterback room, is haunted by something. I don't know what we'll figure it out, but
I'll finish with this, Chad.
Yeah.
Something about the Browns and the Cavs is similar right now. And here's what it is. The Cavs got fooled by James Harden, regular season success, and they're finding out what playoff James Harden looks like.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns are going to do the same thing. They're going to get tricked by practice Deshaun Watson, and then he's going to get out there if that's what they choose. And all the reports are he's going to be the front runner. If they choose that, they're going to get fooled when they have another disappointing run with a guy who doesn't deserve to be a franchise quarterback or a leader of a football team. And that's what I got. That's it.
Maybe they really are on the march for Arch when we just don't know it.
Well, who knows? Arch Manning's a little confident too. Maybe they'll have a problem with him too. Let's go to break.
I bet we'll see. Yeah.
Let's go to break, pal. I gotta go take I gotta go drink a water or something. I gotta calm down. Like and subscribe, follow all the great stuff, Inside Edge Net on all the socials. We appreciate you for choosing us as Cleveland's digital leader, your source of sports, entertainment, mental health conversations, news, everything in between. We truly appreciate you. A lot of times, if you tune in Inside Edge Primetime here from 10 to 11 p.m., weekdays here on the Inside Edge Network, we're having a lot of fun. We're laughing. We're joking. You'll get Tuesday Top 5 earlier this week. I did my Top 5 cheeseburgers. Chad goes way back. We sent him in a time machine. He comes back every time. It's amazing. But tonight, we just... Unfortunately, this is the mood in sports world in Cleveland right now. Yeah. Cavs drop game 2. If you're just tuning in, they fall by 10 again tonight to the Detroit Pistons. And the Cleveland Browns, a tale as old as time, don't know how to pick the right quarterback. So that's where we're at. But make sure if you're enjoying all the content and all the content week long, subscribe. Inside Edge Net on all the socials. And of course, the InsideEdgeNetwork.com, our great website. Go to the partners page. That QR code takes you to the partners page right above Chad. Chad, if you don't mind, thank you, pal. That's all our great sponsors. W Energy. You got Monster Moments, SportsMemorabilia.com, AlleyRoseFragrances.com, and Fanatics. A great, great time just partnering with great companies that we love working with. And if you're one of those companies that would love to get your business spotlighted a lot more, then hit us up. You see my social throughout. See Chad's social throughout. You see Eli and Anthony Alford will be on at midnight here at the top of the hour. So reach out and get in contact with everybody.
The best part about the website is you can go to the merch page. You can see a coffee mug.
Yes.
Or you can go to the personalities page. You can see our mugs. It's perfect.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Maybe we can talk to AA about getting like a Chad Bryan face mug.
Worst selling mug of all time.
I'd buy one.
You know what? I'd pick one up too.
All right. Well, that makes 2 of us, and we already got 2 sales. Look at that. All right. We're going to take a quick break here on the Inside Edge Network. This is Inside Edge Primetime. That's Chad Bryan. I'm Eli Moon. When we come back, final thoughts, and then we get you ready for some unhinged behavior with AA Anthony Alford. Back after this. And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your right. That's right. He's right there on your right. That's Chad Bryan. I'm Eli Moon. We're back for just a few moments, folks. We are right up against it. Eli and Anthony Alford chomping at the bits just to go off. I mean, the bat signal's queued up, and for AA, that means coffee's ready. So we are going to get him in just a few moments. Chad, let's just dive right into it, pal. We got just a few minutes left. We've talked a lot. If you missed it, we recapped the whole first hour. We had Cavs post-game coverage. We talked some NBA playoffs when we transitioned in the second hour. And then, of course, we had some things to say about the Browns quarterback rooms. If you missed all of that, go like, subscribe, follow at the Inside Edge Network at Inside Edge Net. That's Inside Edge Net on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even Twitch. Go out there and get all the great stuff. Just check it out. Check out the website, InsideEdgeNetwork.com.
Yeah.
You can check all the shows out. A lot of great programming. Of course, you have Primetime, but before us, you have Unfiltered, 5 to 6 p.m. with Kyle Cornell. News breakdowns, current events. It's very informative and something that needs to be said right now. We need some more truth and honesty in this world. So we got Kyle Cornell doing that. And then we got, of course, after us, 10 to 11 weekdays, Chad and I, and we get silly a lot of times. And sorry, folks, not tonight. Yeah. Then we have Midnight Run with Anthony Alford, of course, midnight to 1 weekdays, all the daily programming. And then, of course, our great weekly program as well. Real Talk with Papa Moon, Jersey Chasers. You have Voice of the Land, Commissioner's Couch. You have so much main event, so much great programming here on the Inside Edge Network, something for everybody and a lot more coming up. So stay tuned. You never know what's coming up next with the Inside Edge Network, but we're going to continue to bring you something different and be Cleveland's digital leader. And your source, again, for sports, entertainment, mental health conversations, news, and everything in between. Chad. Whoo, man.
It's been a rough one, man. I will say this. Sometimes when you list all the places where we stream, and I'm looking at the list of them on the screen now, it's crazy. But I always want to say, coming soon to MySpace. Soon after that, we'll unload. You can download the best ofs on LimeWire, right? You can download all the MP4, MP3 files you need from us. The best ofs on LimeWire.
Chad,
and, make sure to friend request us on AOL Instant Messenger.
Chad, do not encourage people to download viruses on their desktops.
Okay, don't do that. There's a reason LimeWire shut down. That's right.
There's a reason that I didn't get to use my mom and dad's computer after a few months. It's because
make us one of your top 5 friends in MySpace. We would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right,
don't do the music on your page. It'll take 45 minutes to load with dial-up. I'm old. Okay.
And you get ads. Sometimes you get ads in the MP3. Oh my gosh.
Goodness.
Final thoughts. You want to go first, or you want me to go?
I'll go first. Listen, right. I don't like to make a lot of jokes when it comes to mental health, but I just want to keep this a little bit light as it pertains to May. It is Mental Health Awareness Month. I would suggest that over the next, likely 2 games of the Cavs season, detach yourselves. Just don't let this team get to you. Don't attach your emotional well-being to this team right now. Just watch with a detached psyche. Separate your heart from your brain and your eyes, and just watch this team, because this is likely the last time you'll see this assortment of players together, unless they all go somewhere else in the NBA. I don't know that they make it to Game 5, Eli. The way they're playing right now, I don't know that it makes a difference if they play at home, if they're playing away, if they're playing in a neutral site, if they're playing in a high school gym, if they're playing in a trash can. I don't think that it matters. I would just advise you to detach yourself emotionally from this team over the next likely 2 games, maybe 3, but likely 2, and just watch. Just see these players on the floor and go, hey, remember this time when the Cavs were this really good regular season team, and then the playoffs stunk, and then just hope like hell we go out and get Giannis. That's all I got.
Yeah, brother. I could not have said it better myself. I think I'll close with this. Give somebody a hug tomorrow, Cleveland. Give somebody a hug. We're going through so much shit right now. Give somebody a hug. Look,
biggest Cavs fan you know. Give them a hug.
Yeah, hug somebody tomorrow, Cleveland. And if you see me out and about, give me a hug, man. I'll take one. Just make sure you wear deodorant. It's getting a little warm out. All right. With that being said, those are our final thoughts. That is the show. This is inside. Excuse me. You see, I get worked up about the Browns, and this is what happens.
Hey.
And you know what else happens? If we're in the studio after midnight, you know what happens? And everything starts switching. Well, no, everything starts switching on us.
Oh my gosh. Yep. Here we go.
The lights start changing.
Oh.
It gets a little crazy in here. I got
Omar's
blue
Ghost.
all of a sudden. Not Omar's Ghost. In fact, it's somebody that's well lit tonight. He's unhinged. He's mad. He's angry. He's pissed off. He's probably a little hungry because he probably forgot to make dinner tonight.
Coming straight at you from the Cavs' dead room.
It's a living room, Chad. It's a living room. And of course, after station identification, we'll have the man, the myth, the legend, our program director, and our brother, Eli Anthony Alford, giving you the next hour of unhinged behavior. This has been Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. For Chad Bryan, I'm Eli Moon. We'll be a little happier tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Midnight run after station identification. See you tomorrow.
See you.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
It is 12:04 here in the East Coast, and we suck. I don't know what that was tonight, but we're going to try to break it down. Welcome to the Midnight Run here on the Inside Edge Network. We're on social media at Inside Edge Net, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We're all there. I had to jump on the postgame show earlier today because we have thin walls here. So it's been 2.5 hours since that game happened. We got some sound that we're going to play here in just a little bit. From all parties involved. But I just want to lay things out. We have a laundry list of topics. I think like 4 or 5 of the topics I sent to Eli, we probably won't even get to until tomorrow because I have so many Cavalier thoughts. I mean, technically the series is not over, but the fat lady is warming up the band right now. When the Cavs are losing games where talent-wise they're good enough to win, I don't know if there's any coming back from this. Now, again, that's not to say after Game 5 the series can be tied at 2-2, but it's clear and obvious that this team cannot win on the road. It is clear and obvious that this team has no mental toughness. It is clear and obvious that for us as fans, for most of the NBA playoffs, there's an extra sense of urgency. There's an extra level of pressure. For the Cavaliers, this is a 9-to-5. For the Cavaliers, this is just their time to clock in, do what they're supposed to do, and clock out. That's it. This team is never ready to play at the beginning of games. It's another game where there's a slow start. Cavaliers down, getting down to double digits, working their way back in. And that's the thing. Sometimes when you're not where you need to be in terms of mentality, what ends up happening is while everybody else has that sense of urgency, while everybody else is on the go moving, you're in quicksand. And then it becomes normalized. And all of a sudden, because it's normalized, then you don't know that you have problems. In fact, again, the sound we're going to play for you here today, the post-game sound that we'll play for you throughout the show, you listen to these guys talk, I don't think they realize that they're down 2-0. I don't think they realize that this thing could all be blown up. It's the most expensive roster in the NBA. Well, why should they care? They're already paid. They're already paid. The name that we're going to talk about mostly coming up in the second segment, most of my anger is towards James Harden. James Harden was just a disappointment, and we're going to spend our time talking about James Harden. But it occurred to me, I didn't believe this was true. Evan Mobley had 1 rebound. Evan Mobley, the next big superstar in our league, had 1 rebound. The next big superstar in our league, he has never been an impact player. He is not an impact player. And coming up at 12-20, Evan Mobley, this dude is overrated. And he's going to get paid like he's Giannis. He's going to get paid like he's Kevin Durant. He's going to be paid like he's one of those top-level stud superstars. And he doesn't set a tone. He's not a tone setter. So the more I sat and I listened to Eli and Chad, during the post game as we were getting ready for Midnight Run, the more I'm sitting here, I'm like, dude, Evan Mobley, when you're talking about elite players, this dude stinks. We'll talk about him coming up in about 10 minutes. I mentioned doing the post-game show, and I think it's all true. The Cavaliers they're led by B-plus players across the board. They're led by B-plus players. Yeah, if you look at the box score, Donovan Mitchell, 31 points. 31 points is 31 points. Pretty good stuff. But when you need scoring, when you need that overdrive, when you need Donovan Mitchell to play more minutes, it's not there. Donovan Mitchell, 37 minutes tonight. He should be in the 40s. I personally, watching him, I do think there might be a little bit of an issue with the hamstring. Something's off with that. But I'm watching Donovan Mitchell, 37 minutes. Kay Cunningham, however, 42 minutes. Tobias Harris, 37 minutes. Duncan Robinson, 37 minutes. And by the way, don't look now. Duncan Robinson looks like a sneaky playoff MVP candidate. I know Kay Cunningham's going to get all the headlines, but when Duncan Robinson gets going, Detroit wins playoff games. And Duncan Robinson's having the best stretch of his career right now. Defensively, we don't defend the perimeter. We don't defend the 3. We never have. This team, our team, the Cavaliers, low IQ. They don't know what spots they need to get to. They don't know what they need to do to face off against other competition. And a lot of that, JB Bickerstaff is eating Kenny Atkinson's lunch. But JB Bickerstaff, coaching here, he knows these players. He knows these players are not smarting themselves up. He knows this. It's unbelievable. Let's start with Kenny Atkinson. Let's go Atkinson 0-2. Why are the Cavaliers starting off slow? Take a look.
I know, and Dan, not a great start, for that starting group. So, we know the deal here. We got to look at everything. Is there a jolt from somewhere? We just got to look at everything. We tried to change up our coverages, tried to be a little more aggressive to get our mojo going. I don't know what it is with the start of games. I mean, they came out super aggressive, of course, but it's playoffs. So obviously haven't figured that one out. Still back to the drawing board.
Well, you could be back to the drawing board sitting next to me hosting on InsideEdge Network when you're out of a job. When you can't figure this out, Kenny Atkinson. You could sit right next to me. Suddenly, I might have a co-hosting opening here on Midnight Run. You could sit right next to me because you can't figure out why Toronto comes out guns blazing against us, why Detroit comes out guns blazing against us, why Indiana last year comes out guns blazing against us. Evidently, you can't figure it out. Let's hit the other Atkinson cut on James Harden. What the hell happened in the second half with James Harden?
I feel, on me. He took 2 shots in the second half. I'll put that on me. We tried to, I think the idea in the second half was to push the pace, and try to play quicker and get the ball up the court. And he was doing a great job getting off it. But our offense isn't at a point now, like when him and Don should get off it, it should come back to them at some point. You know what I'm saying? And I felt that didn't, both him and Don, didn't kind of circle back to him. So we got to look at it. We can't have our Hall of Famer taking 2 shots in the second half. I'll take that one.
So you're not coming up with a good game plan, or players aren't listening to you. They think, oh, everything's cool. Everything's cool. Speaking of which, James Harden, 2 shots. Fourth quarter, or in the second half, 2 shots. Trash in the second half. 16, 17. Is there a strip club out there that could supply this man with chicken and confidence? Is there a strip club in Brook Park, downtown Cleveland, somewhere, anywhere, that can light a fire under this dude? James Harden? Before we go to break, let's go to James Harden, Harden 02, on his second half 2-shot performance.
I mean, it's me, it's a team game. You know what I mean? So if the ball's moving, what you just commented on, the ball moving, we're getting shots, then that's for the betterment of the team. You know what I mean? So I think the best thing about it is just getting really, really good shots and, and then kind of finding a combination of, when to be aggressive and when to, get the team shots.
James Harden, I have the box score here on the side. Didn't even point out throughout the night. He only had 10 points. 3 of 13 from the field and 4 turnovers. Another game, by the way, with more turnovers than made field goals. Give me a team that has won with B-plus players. All B-plus players. Hasn't happened. Hasn't happened in over 25 years. But there's one player that I want to zero in on when we come back, because I could talk about the inefficiency of James Harden, and we'll definitely get into all that. I could talk about Donovan Mitchell not coming through and what's next for him. Jared Allen. Jared Allen played decent. But Jared Allen plays his best ball when the player that we're going to talk about next is not on the floor. And when this particular player is on the floor, do you even notice? Do you even effing notice? What you should notice is InsideEdgeNetwork.com. InsideEdgeNetwork.com. See our shows, our personality profiles, the QR code at the top of the screen. You get our partners, all of our phenomenal sponsors, and we have a merch store as well. So you definitely want to check that out. InsideEdgeNetwork.com. I'm Anthony Alford. We are here with you until 1. This is ugly. This is not good. This is not good. But I think you guys really need to pay attention to the player that we're going to talk about next on this team, because he is owed a lot of money and he has not earned the opportunity to earn this much money. We'll talk about him next. This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network.
Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Yeah, absolutely. But in things like this, Evan contributed to them not getting a lot of offensive rebounds. He took himself out of a lot of plays to try to make sure that somebody else got the defensive rebound. The stat sheet, I mean, 1 rebound isn't a lot, but the impact that he had on the glass was a lot more than that.
There's a reason why the Smalls have 6, 5, and 4. So I feel like we look at the stat sheet and say, oh, he had 1, but there's a reason, to Jay's point, why other guys had many rebounds, yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Wow. These guys do not hold each other accountable. I usually don't do this. Eli, can you play that clip again, please?
Yeah, absolutely. But in things like this, Evan contributed to them not getting a lot of offensive rebounds. He took himself out of a lot of plays to try to make sure that somebody else got the defensive rebound. The stat sheet, I mean, 1 rebound isn't a lot, but the impact that he had on the glass was a lot more than that.
There's a reason why the Smalls have 6, 5, and 4. So I feel like we look at the stat sheet and say, oh, he had 1, but there's a reason, to Jay's point, why other guys had many rebounds, yeah.
Did I hear correctly, Jared Allen's, and we're talking about Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley only had 1 rebound. Did I hear correctly from Jared Allen? And Eli, you could confirm off screen for me. Did he say 1 rebound is not a lot? Did I hear that? All right, okay. It's not a lot. It's basically nothing. It's basically nothing. Your job is to get rebounds. He did nothing. You did absolutely none of that. Like, again, as much as I want to, and James Harden was horrible. Donovan Mitchell didn't show up when it matters most, when you need those key outside shots. And Jared Allen has been decent, but he plays better when Evan Mobley's not on the floor. Just look at the stats. Look at Game 7. Look at the stretch back in February when Evan Mobley was hurt and the numbers that Jared Allen was putting up. You would think that somebody who's getting paid basically to be our version of Giannis or to be our version of Kevin Durant would kind of look a little bit like Kevin Durant. And he is doing nothing. He's not spreading the floor out. He's not opening the floor up. When he shoots threes, you're like, whoa, I don't know if it's going to go in. By the way, Evan Mobley only had 9 points. I don't even know if you noticed that he was on the floor. He only had 9 points. I'll read the box score for Evan Mobley just for context. 9 points, 4 of 10 shooting, 1 for 4 from 3. 1 rebound, 4 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. That's the guy who's one of the highest paid players in the NBA, or is due to be one of the highest paid players in the NBA. That's who Dan Gilbert is paying. Evan Mobley is stealing Dan Gilbert's money. Stealing his money. And he's stealing your money because you're paying tickets to see that garbage. My buddy, our host, Kyle Cornell, he posted a comment earlier today. And we talked about it. Our network has talked about it. Eli, you could show it. About Giannis and Evan Mobley, because that was the whole thing. Giannis has a will to win it all, win the championship. If you could make a trade in the playoffs, I would in a heartbeat. And there it is up right there. Drew Holiday for Harden, Giannis for Mobley and picks. Both will work in a trade machine. Yeah. Now, the problem, though, Giannis is going to be worth a lot more. And he might go somewhere else. But Evan Mobley, his stock is going down. It's going down. Evan Mobley, on The Athletic, ran a poll with NBA players, most overrated player. Now, to be fair, Tyrese Halliburton was voted as an overrated player last year before the playoffs, and Tyrese Halliburton took that personally, and he went to town all the way to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. So when you have a killer instinct, you take that criticism and you go to the finish line. You got these guys babying each other, babying Evan Mobley. There was a clip that I found here as we were preparing for the show. This was from Kevin O'Connor from Yahoo Sports. This was back in late March, but everything he says holds true. Evan Mobley, he says he's flat out overrated. Take a look.
Evan Mobley is the most overrated and disappointing player in all of the NBA. Year 5 with Evan Mobley right now, and he hasn't improved a lick as a post scorer. He hasn't improved a lick as an isolation scorer. He is still just as shaky of a three-point shooter and a free throw shooter as he was when he was a rookie. So disappointing that this guy has plateaued since he entered the NBA. And you might be able to say, if Donovan Mitchell wasn't absorbing so many touches, Evan Mobley would get more opportunities to handle on the perimeter. Evan Mobley hasn't earned those touches. You look at what he is defensively with what he can be. He's super versatile. He can switch. He can defend across positions, but he doesn't set a tone because he's soft. Because he might be a great defensive player, but he's not a tone setter. He's not a true defensive player of the year. He won that award because other guys didn't reach 65 games a la Victor Wembanyama, and other guys were, quote-unquote, too young to earn it from the voters.
And because we used this clip, check out his show right there. Yes. If you were dropped and didn't know anything about basketball, and I told you that Evan Mobley is getting paid to be the second best player on this team and is looked at as he's supposedly one of the elite players, you would say, no. Evan Mobley does a little bit of the small things across the board, but tonight he sucked. Evan Mobley should have a presence on the floor each and every single night. He's getting paid to do so. I'm watching Tobias Harris, Kay Cunningham, and Duncan Effin Robinson put in work. And I got Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell defending. I have neighbors defending Evan Mobley for getting 1 rebound in the second round of the effing NBA playoffs. 1 rebound, 9 points. Oh, but he made an impact on the glass. Yeah, he made an impact shadowboxing. Hell out of here talking about he made an impact. Impact on what? Playing pinball on his iPhone? Hell out of here. Talking about he made an impact. These guys don't have a mentality. And the worst thing about it, and I'm going to bring in Eli in a few seconds here. The worst thing about all of this, and you guys know this, Dan Gilbert I believe, was there, or, he has a heavy interest in this series. Obviously, his business, he's from the Michigan area, from, Detroit. His business started there. And of course, obviously taking over ownership of the Cleveland Cavaliers 20 years ago. He let go of J.B. Bickerstaff because he thought J.B. Bickerstaff wasn't good enough to get the Cavaliers over the hump. A lot of people, myself included, probably would agree with that, with this roster. And we got to remember, Dan Gilbert ordered tickets for season ticket holders, Cavs, season ticket holders, to get bussed from Cleveland to Detroit. So there was Cavaliers representation there. And for him to get his butt kicked and pay these guys to steal his money is a travesty. A travesty. Let me bring in the ace, Eli Moon, the golden child of the Inside Edge Network. Eli and Chad did a phenomenal job somehow getting through that post-game cover. And they talked Dylan Gabriel and the Browns. You guys deserve an award tonight.
Thank you. You can ship it to my address, which is... All right, back to you.
Thank you. We've talked about a lot of the different angles of this game, of James Harden, of Donovan Mitchell, and we'll talk more Donovan Mitchell coming up a little bit later. But Evan Mobley, that when you hear Evan Mobley was so quiet, he's not even really in the rundown. Like, what the hell?
Double A. I don't know how much more I can take from this Cavs team. I don't know. I truly can't. And it's like you hit the nail on the head. We keep celebrating stuff that would be celebrated in October or November or December. Okay, they lost tonight, but the small guys got in and got some boards. I don't care. I don't care who got more rebounds or this or that. It is choose your game. One game it's Jared Allen in foul trouble and he's non-existent, and the next game it's Evan Mobley. You've brought it up. They don't play well on the floor together. Yet Kenny Atkinson, and we've given him a lot of benefit of the doubt, continues to not make any adjustments. And the word of the week for me has been embarrassing for this Cavaliers team. It's been embarrassing. It's embarrassing that we continue to put all of our eggs in the baskets of Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and now James Harden for this last half of the year. I don't understand it, Double A. And if you want my honest opinion, I'd look for anybody, any team that wants Evan Mobley this offseason. I agree with Kyle. Kyle made a great point on Unfiltered and on the post-game show a few nights ago here in the Inside Edge Network that Giannis, but to your point, is going to cost a lot more, would be a great fit. But at this point, I'm walking up to, if I'm Dan Gilbert, if I'm Kobe Altman, and thank goodness I'm not, because I don't feel like dealing with this right now. But if I'm one of those guys, or both of those guys, which would be crazy to be two people at once, I would go to any team and say, what would you give me for Evan Mobley? Would you give me a couple firsts that I could recoup? Maybe get, we did pretty well, the Cavaliers, that being with Jalen Tyson. Drafting Jalen Tyson was a home run. Maybe they can hit a few more first-round picks, because one thing I will give Kobe Altman is he has nailed a lot of his first-round picks that he has had here for the most part. I know Colin Sexton gets a lot of whatever. He's still an NBA pro, and you can't say that about a lot of guys in the last 5 to 6 years that went in the top 10. So I'll give him credit there. You look at that. You look at Darius Garland. He's nailed these first-round picks. So I'd go, from Kobe Altman, I'd go and say, will you give me a couple firsts? Okay, you won't give me a couple firsts. Will you give me at least something? Because the more and more these playoffs go on and Evan Mobley's career continues on, the stock is going down. Double A, I'm going to tell a story here real quick on Midnight Run. I used to be in an economics class back in high school.
No.
We did this. Yes. And look at me now. Look at us. I we did this fake stock game where we got these like fake stocks and you played and you traded off and you tried to win your, the most bread, the most money, and then you were the winner of the class. And I was running for about 3/4 of it, and then I traded a few bad stocks, and then whatever. It was bad, not great.
We'll talk after the show about where you went wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. All that to be said, the Cavaliers are basically doing what I'm doing, right? Or did in the stock game. You had a great, okay, it's getting hot. It's going up. Oh, the stock is so high. And Evan Mobley, you get Giannis for him, and then you don't. And now we are at the lowest his stock has been since he's been in the NBA. And 1 rebound tonight, AA, is unacceptable. If we wanted 1 rebound, we could have set you, Chad, and I, put each other on each other's shoulders, and got a few boards. What are we doing?
I disagree with you on one thing. I think we only got 1 board. We ain't giving a few.
I mean,
a little bit
we
board.
might have a little more effort. Is my
But
whole.
we would have gave effort. The effort we would have gave, we probably would have been in the hospital tonight. The effort that we wanted to do. I'm going to say something that's going to piss off a lot of people, a lot of fans right now. Evan Mobley, I'm looking at his contract. 5-year deal, average salary $54 million, basically. Evan Mobley has the 2nd worst contract in Cleveland sports behind Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, you're not going to get me to disagree with you. I mean, and if we want to get deeper into it, there's a few other Cavaliers that are probably in that top 5 list of worst contracts in Cleveland right now. We are paying a lot of money, not us. Dan Gilbert's paying a lot of money to see 1 rebound out of your supposed to be blossoming, should have already blossomed unicorn that just won't grow the horn on his head and become the unicorn. You spend all this money on all this.
Who would want this? Even Milwaukee now. Jimmy has. I know we can make a lot of jokes about Jimmy Haslam, but Jimmy Haslam's here in Cleveland, right? Jimmy Haslam, part owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. He actually spoke publicly about Giannis, but he's obviously keeping tabs of what's going on. Why would you want this? I'm demanding a lot more than just draft picks. I want Jared Allen too. I want do something with this. Man, we gotta go to break. Thank you, Eli. This is disturbing. This is deeply disturbing because it's not just listen, the Detroit Pistons are the top seed. If you strictly go by seeding, Detroit's the top seed. Being up 2-0 should not be a big deal. The problem is everything that has gone into this. And when we come back, we got to circle all this around Donovan Mitchell. Again, people come to me and it's like, dude, you hate Donovan Mitchell. You talk about Donovan Mitchell all the time. What do you have against Donovan Mitchell? Again, he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. But when your team is led by B-plus players, they'll only take you so far. And this is it. We'll talk about Donovan Mitchell coming up, final segment of the show. We'll sneak in something fun at the end, too. We got a love boat situation. So we got new news. Or these people might have said it the other way, too. We got some turbulence going on in New England. New photos have arose. We'll talk about that coming up next. This is Midnight Run here on the Inside Edge Network. Find us online at InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on all your favorite Inside Edge Network personalities, favorite shows, and our network partners. And also, we are independent. We are grassroots. Support us and support your local community digital sports leader with our merch store. Yes, we have a merch shop. There it is right there. Look at all the great stuff you can get there. The Champion Packable jacket, Got the Inside Edge Network t-shirt. How about hats? How about a glass? How about an official polo from the Inside Edge Network? We got water bottles as well. And you can customize it. Multiple different colors and sizes that we have available for you. That's right. Rep the network. Support us here at the Inside Edge Network. We are Cleveland's digital leader for sports entertainment, mental health, and the culture. Check out our merch store right now at InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com.
Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Inside Edge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. MosserMomentsPhotography.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
We got some comments from Donovan Mitchell that honestly, it bothers the hell out of me. It really does. We'll talk about that coming up in just a moment. I want to remind all of you, Omega Video Marketing, if you are a content creator or a business decision maker and you have an event coming up the spring or the summer, Omega Video Marketing is the place you need to be, led, of course, by Megan Gallagher, 4-time, maybe soon to be 5-time, Emmy Award-winning producer with history of television news, in Northeast Ohio, of course, with WKYC, and before that, 13 ABC in Toledo, and 24 BG24 News back in Bowling Green. Ziggy Zuba. Make sure you check out Omega Video Marketing by contacting Megan Gallagher. Her email is meganrg440@gmail.com. That's meganrg440@gmail.com. Also, quick programming note. Didn't even realize I did this, but I made the assignments. Myself and TK Dandridge will have coverage of the Game 3 Cavaliers post-game show. That comes your way Saturday, actually right after Real Talk with Papa Moon. So Saturday, Real Talk with Papa Moon at 5, and then shortly after the end of that episode, myself, TK Dandridge, will have you covered with the Cavaliers Pistons Game 3 post-game show. I may or may not be hosting that post. I'll either be hosting that post-game show from here or from the Unfiltered Studios over at the Kyle Cornell residence. Boy, look at that studio setup. My goodness, what he has done with that. But myself and TK will have you covered for Game 3. And then Game 4, Eli, Chad, and Autumn Chisholm will have you covered for the Game 4 post-game. We do have a lineup for Game 5. We do have a lineup for Game 6. And if necessary, Game 7. I guess technically Games 5, 6, and 7 are still listed as if necessary. If we want to see a Game 5 and a Game 6, because that's the only way the Cavs can win the series, they need to win on Saturday and Monday. Earlier today, we got these reports from Donovan from ESPN. ESPN had an article out from Jamal Collier from ESPN earlier today. What's at stake for James Harden and Donovan Mitchell? And most of that clip is, at the top is a clip from Stephen A. Smith and First Take. And all that. But Donovan Mitchell had this to say, and it really bothers me. He said here, and I quote, talking to ESPN about pressure. I've been here before. The pressure's not, the pressure is really not, I don't feel it. This isn't pressure. Getting your next meal is pressure. Where I'm going to live, that's pressure. This is an opportunity. This is fun. At least I know we put our best foot forward regardless of the result. In years past, some blank just didn't go my way. Now I'm like, we made the moves. We've done the talk. Now just continue to walk. The part that he says over here, this isn't pressure. Getting your next meal is pressure. Where I'm going to live, that's pressure. Boy, this might be me going on a rant here. Waking up in the morning, putting in work, performing at my absolute best in my daytime job, performing at my absolute best for this network, performing at my absolute best for this show, performing at my absolute best for the side hustle, for main event, for anything that I do, performing at my absolute best for my team here and for everyone. That is pressure, because this being successful, me being successful, my team, my family, my friends, that is pressure. I treat this like I'm going for my next meal. And you do too. When you are trying to be great at something, there is pressure each and every single effing day to be great. I am not allowed to have an off day. I can feel bad, certainly, sure. And that's where the balance of mental health comes into play. Absolutely. But if you want to be hungry at this, you want to be hungry and be great, that comes with pressure. That comes with, hey, we're trying to land sponsors so our team can get paid. We're trying to get, have more viewers like and subscribe to our stuff each and every single day. I have people I answer to on this. That is pressure. In your day job, I am tasked to perform my duties. So that way I can pay rent every single month. That is pressure. Those who have kids, talking about the next meal, they're tasked to perform at their absolute best so they can provide for their children. That's pressure. You can have fun. Sure, this is fun. It is fun. But your job is to honor your contract. That is pressure. So to not even have the sense of urgency, that is why the Cavaliers look like dog shit at the beginning of every game. That quote right there. That's why they look the way that they look. That quote right there. This isn't pressure. Getting your next meal is pressure. Getting to the next round of the playoffs should be pressure. Do you watch Cade Cunningham and don't think that this is not pressure on Detroit? How many people nationally already, going into the playoffs, Detroit has no chance. No chance. No chance. Boston's right there. And when Boston got knocked out, this is the Knicks conference to lose. JB Bickerstaff can't get to the next level. Detroit hasn't won a playoff series in I don't know how long. That is pressure. Getting after rebounds, defending the perimeter, boxing out. That is pressure. What Donovan's talking about, his mentality, this might as well be Summer League. This might as well just be a pickup game. And if that's his attitude, that's his mantra, get your ass beat in games 3 and 4, we'll call it a day. We'll go full-blown on Guardians talk. We got a schedule show coming up next week on the NFL schedule. We'll get right to that. We'll move along. We'll move along. We'll move along. Because I don't hear LeBron talking about acting like that. I don't hear, Stephen Curry talking like that. Shaq and other greats. the late, great Kobe Bryant. Can you imagine the late, great Kobe Bryant saying that nonsense? If Kobe was here today, he would smack him in the face. How dare he say something like that? Oh, this ain't just this is nothing. This is what you do for a living. This is your meal. Every contract, the moment you secure your contract, it is a hunt for the next one. The moment you close a sale, every salesperson knows what I'm about to say. The moment that you close a sale, the very next minute after you celebrate, you're thinking about renewal. I don't care if the deal is for 3 months or 3 years. You're thinking about the next deal. The NFL, they're looking into new TV deals because they're treating their business like they're hungry. So have that mentality, Donovan Mitchell. Have that mentality. And I go after Donovan Mitchell hard because I know this dude is a baller. I know he's loaded with skill. And I know that if he's pointed in the right direction, he can be an NBA champion. He has the talent to be an NBA champion. Does he have physical limitations? Sure. He's 6'1". I get that. I understand that. Up here, it needs to be better. The mentality needs to be better. He's a young man. He has time. He has time. A year ago, I didn't have the drive that I have right now. A year ago, I probably would have agreed with this statement. A year ago, I didn't have the mentality that I have right now. I don't sleep. And I still perform at an A+ level, at least in my eyes. Maybe I don't. But I'll at least give you an A+ effort. And it's not just being an on-air talent. It's making sure that all our operations, everything we do, is on point. Because this ain't just something we do for fun. This is a business, what we do. We are trying to change the industry and win each and every single day. I don't just roll out of bed and just, here we go, it's time to show up. No. And until Donovan Mitchell up here has that mentality, he's going to continue to get his ass kicked in the second round of the playoffs. He's going to continue to justify Evan Mobley only getting 1 rebound in a playoff game. A teammate that has the second worst contract in Cleveland sports right now behind Deshaun Watson. He's going to continue to justify it. Sometimes I hope that some losses suck. They suck. And I know I got to wrap here. I'll end with this. Losses stink. Losing in any fashion in the playoffs sucks. It does. The key is always, what do you gain out of a loss? What do you learn from a loss? Eventually, if a team pushes you around enough, you get sick of it, you get tired of it, and you move forward. You would think after what happened to you against the Knicks all those years ago, that would be enough of a wake-up call. You would think what happened against you against the Celtics would be a wake-up call. You would think what happened to you against the Pacers would be a wake-up call. And this young team in Detroit, who only a couple of years ago was doing jack blank, was doing nothing, all of a sudden, they're going to come pass you by. And it's just fun. It's just an opportunity. It's just fun. My ass. How dare you say that as the leader of this effing team? How dare you say that? It's 1:00. We're done. See you tomorrow.